wicket-keeper, Alex Ahmed, wasn't in great form yesterday. I feel like his sideways movement was quite up to his usual standards, but they scoot through to complete the run. So it's not a bad start from the Spanish. No wickets, but only 9 runs on the board. Final ball coming up here. It's a lovely shot. Pierces the gap through the offside, and Denidu, second ball he's faced, but beautifully timed. Completes the over with a boundary, and the Italians are away 13 for none after the end of the first over. A lovely shot from Marage through the covers. Very traditional cricket shot. No wild swipes across the line from the Italian batters thus far. Although it does look like Babar Khan's come to the bowling crease with his leg spin. We'll have a quick look at how Championship Week sits. As I mentioned, the Netherlands, the defending champions from 2022. So they've had a pathway through to this final week, but they're joined by some of the hottest nations in European cricket. A few of the traditional powers there in terms of Ireland, England, and the Netherlands 11s. Joined by Jersey, one of the stronger teams in the next tier below the test-playing nations, and a couple that are really making waves in this form of the game in particular. Babar, it's a good ball, popped off a lane. He wasn't in perfect control. But as it is, flies away for a boundary. Advantage of giving the leg spinner one of the early overs. While that ball's new, it will get some extra bounce. Supercomputer thinks this is a tight one. 49% to 51. Favour of the Spanish as Bar drops short. It's actually not bad bit of fielding from Mohamed Hassan. It felt like everything took place in slow motion there for a moment. His batters jagged into the grass, so it was a direct hit, or potentially even if the bowler had have quickly collected it. May have been an opportunity for a run out. The bar drops down the leg side, not put away. Fortunate for the bowler. That was a give me ball. Gundy ball, as our boy Rico Full would say. That's nicely flighted leg spinner, but straight into the hitting zone of Nakbi. And he goes Maximo for the first time today. Italy, 23 for none. And speaking of Maximos, what an amazing segue to bring Vinny, Mr. Maximo Sandu into the commentary box.
Yeah, didn't have to wait long. Morning, Rhino. Morning, everyone. Great to be back with you for day 2 on Championship Week. Yeah, well, Nakbi missed out on a... Yeah, it was a genuine Gundy ball, wasn't it really? But this one was a bit of a challenge length, and he hits Booney straight back over his head. Nicely, Booney walking without too much discomfort here. This one hurries on just for a single. But yeah, it's quite bizarre, that incident yesterday. I think it was just cramp. I mean, that was the situation. I think he did bat in the second half of that game, right, Babar? But it was the infamous one small step for Babar, one giant calf cramp for mankind. It's a
good advertisement for Alistair Priddle massage services as well, as Babar just drifts on to leg stump. Wasn't beautifully timed, but Marage, enough elevation. He's only faced 3 balls and sent 2 of them to the boundary already. It's the completion of the second over. Italy, 30 for none.
Yeah, so if you just joined us, Rico has an off day today, but Rhino will be with me. And also we're hoping to get Corey for a couple of games. But we know from last year's Championship Week, that can depend on how Spain go, because he was late scratching for a similar situation last year. Hey, what about the first day? 5 games, 5 different winners. And so that kind of has Jersey and Netherlands looking over their shoulders. Well, if they do, they won't see much behind them, because everyone's above them so far. Just 6 games for each team to make their mark in Championship Week. The top 4 were playing finals on Friday. Bowling out to Atif Mohammed here in over 3.
Decent length ball, but he's managed to keep the top hand. under control. Nakvi driving straight down the ground. This is a big gamble from the Spanish skipper, DDC, bringing his gun left armour on to be bowled out in the power play.
Well, I think they've had some power play problems, right? And they've been playing a bit of catch-up, so they think Atifi's one of their most awkward bowlers for the opposition to counter. So let's bowl him early, even though you wouldn't say he had an outstanding first over. But yeah, they think that up front's the way to go, and we'll probably see a bit of spin in the middle, you'd imagine. Maybe a bit of Hamza as well.
That's a good ball. Just a tiny bit of shape away. Decent length. Definitely, I have the sense that he's not 100% fit, Vinny. Just see him walking a little bit gingerly back to his mark. Not generating quite the same zip. We've seen him in previous events here. He's been a fantastic bowler for both the Pack Care team in ECL, Spanish team here. Such a talented young player and so vital to Spain's hopes. And one drifts onto leg, not a great ball, and it's just helped around. And Nakvi, he's moved along to 24 off 12. Italy, they are moving at reasonable pace without having to take too many risks.
Yeah, for sure. It's yeah, a bit of an arm wrestle early. Tiff gets a very gentle couple of pats on the shoulder.
So 38 for none, halfway through this third. So Italy hasn't gotten out of control for the Spanish by any respect, but Italy will feel they've set a reasonable platform. That one's outside off stump, and it has been sent skyrocketing over the boundary on the offside. Gorgeous timing by Nakvi, and after this solid start, the Italians could be ready to launch.
Yeah, that's absolutely pounded over extra cover right off the middle, and that's what Nakvi does when he's in form. And so, yeah, Teef, well, it's not the worst spell ever. I mean, it's probably around about a par run rate, the 2.5 a ball, I think, based on what we're seeing in this championship week. But he'll hope maybe win these last couple of balls. Stay in the 20s, not the 30s. Nakvi on 30.
A bit of an off-pace one swinging back in, but it's beautifully played by Nakvi. He read the change of pace and the change of approach very, very quickly. Times this beautifully, just opens the blade.
Yeah, it's really nicely placed there, either by design or by accident, but it was a nice push that found its way to the rope pretty quickly. Nakvi in business, 34 of 14. Italy on the verge of the half century. Last ball of this power play coming up.
Up-ish, but the field's all up because it's still the power play, and that one's just dropped in inside the boundary rope and completes a good power play for the Italians. They end up 52 for none. 3 overs gone.
That's an example of a ball that's pretty tough to drive, and Ati doesn't get driven that way too much off that length, but gets just enough in. With an outfielder back there, it's probably out. But that's probably the negative of bowling Atifi in the power play. A third over goes magical. So once again, Spain copping a bit of punishment in the first 352 without loss. 50 partnership also coming up between Zain Nakvi and Dinadu Marage.
So probably the concern for the Spanish now, they've been so used to turning to Atif to put the brakes on in the second half of an innings, generally bowling sort of 4th or 5th over and then coming back to bowl one of the last couple. Saw yesterday, particularly in their game against Ireland, that when batters got on top of them, some of their second and third choice options just didn't have the tools to flick the same sort of troubles. Field's gone back. DDC here very, very straight at long on. That's an outside edge, and it's gone quickly off the deck. It's only the 4th ball that Maragi's faced, and Oase, I hope he hasn't copped that in the face, but it's scooted through his gloves.
Yeah, it's definite edge. He's just rushed for pace, whether he's standing too close. But you see it's in that middle section where you're not sure whether to put your fingers up or your fingers down, really. It was kind of self-preservation mode. Oase didn't see a lot of it, did he? So Marage has a life on 10, and Raja Adil, well, he'll be spitting chips. He could have had a wicket first ball.
Not a bad ball. Well, he's unlucky that bowler outside edge first ball, thicker one. on the second occasion, and because of the very fine third man, no chance to cut that off. Boundary 4.
Yeah, that one from a ways, obviously you didn't see it very well, but probably the technique there was to kind of bend your knees slightly and take it fingers up. It's often hard to keep going up if balls get big on you if you don't turn your fingers up. So, yeah, that one just was an uncomfortable height, I suppose, but then you can kind of change your height a little bit if you change your body position. So hindsight is 10-10, like you said yesterday. I like that. We're going to say hindsight's 10-10 now, not 20-20, considering the version of cricket we play here on ECN.
So just manoeuvring the field around.
Is 10-10 vision a thing? I've heard of that.
I don't understand why it's not. Why does it have to be 20-20? We'll investigate this further.
Check out the field here. Very straight mid-off in the circle, and it won't matter because it's going to be slashed away. So Maraghe, well, he's on borrowed time, but Italy continue to hit boundaries with alarming regularity for Equipo Rojo.
Deal. I like that he's continuing to pitch this ball up. I was going to say, when you saw the slow motion replay before, he's keeping a wonderful seam position. He's getting a little bit of a way swing despite coming up from quite a wide angle on the crease. But on that occasion, Maraghe just too good. Spain keep on moving the field around in desperate attempt to find a recipe for a wicket. Batter just walking back. I don't know if he's suggesting an issue with where DDC's fielding, almost right next to where the bowler's commencing his run up.
Gives us a chance. Well, 10-10 vision does exist, but 10-10 vision, rather than 20-20, only indicates the sharpness or clarity of a vision at a distance. And I suppose with the distance of time, you can have 10-10 vision looking back. Anyway, this is in the air, and half an opportunity, more than half an opportunity really. One stump to aim at. Maraghe, and he's flirting with the non-strikers crease, isn't he, on some of these singles. That he won't be in the picture here. That was another chance for Spain to register a wicket, and that's 2 chances in the over not being converted.
I'm not sure if you'd call that a half chance, aiming at one stump, but your bowlers haven't been able to deliver a wicket to date. It's one you need to take. AQUÍ on strike. Oh, he's pitched up well. It's driven and won't take the single. Probably too well struck to contemplate.
Yeah, AQUÍ scored 100 on the network for the first time on home soil just before the CCC began.
Tell you, there's a lot of conversation going on between DDC and a deal.
Captain's waiting for you at the end of your mark.
Slower ball, read well and struck wonderfully well down the ground. AQUÍ, Maximo finished the 4th over. The Italians racing along, 67 for none.
Yeah, so obviously DDC said, look, try the slower ball, make him make the pace. That's exactly what AQUÍ did. He's striking it really nicely at the moment. So the rate at the moment, that high 160s pace. Yeah, who's to say that won't be chased based on what we're seeing in Championship Week if some of the Spanish batters can get going. And DDC certainly coming off 4 ducks. He's due to fire if you believe in the law of averages. Look, great game to watch. And now here's a bit of a surprise. Looks like this is going to be Mohamed Ihsan coming on to bowl. So searching for some bowling options. Ihsan's regularly a keeper. We haven't seen him bowling a lot. I'm going to have to go to the stats.
Has he bowled in ECN cricket?
He's probably played so many games, he probably has, but this one's right out of the blue.
Well, Corey Rutgers as team coach, team tactician, team Svengali. It's not, you can expect the unexpected with this Spanish team as Ihsan sends it on a decent length. Dorkale sprints around, taps it back in with his right hand. But they will scoot through for the second. Well, certainly the first one didn't come out too badly from Ihsan.
All right, 109 matches. He's bowled 6 overs and he's got 3 for 69, but never for Spain. All right, best bowling, 2 for 28 in 2021.
That's a pretty good ECN career, isn't it? 100+ matches.
He also has 2,403 runs. And he may be, don't quote me on this, he may be the all-time greatest ECN run scorer, Mohamed Ihsan.
Just pushes that one wide of leg stump. Too easy for a batter of Maraghe's class. Just clips it off his toes. Yet another boundary for the Italians, 73 for none.
I'll tell you who I think should be bowling more, and that's probably the captain, Daniel Dolkaya. He bowled a little bit in the group, and he kind of medium pace, keeps it up in the block hole. I mean, trying Isan here. He's got the Southern Cross field, which is a straight fielder, and then a wider long on and long off.
That one's just dug out. Good length from Isan, at least not allowing the batter to free his arms, but neither of these Italian batters have looked, aside from that one outside edge, which Awais Ahmed dropped, they've looked in complete control in this innings to date.
Yeah, the other chance have really been run-out opportunities.
Another one just hurled into the block hole from Isan.
Yeah, Isan. He's doing a job, just trying to get it in the block hole for mine.
So, lovely pure action as that one is hit very purely over the square leg boundary. Lovely timing. Marage and AQUÍ, they're just picking their deliveries to launch. And that one was hit very, very sweetly. Maximo.
Yeah. Time to grab the hiking gear and go find that one. They're going to El Bosque. We're going into the forest. Kind of a ball that threatens to off spin, but the batter's a bit more threatening down on the back pad. Marage escorts it to a new home. Both these openers up and going with such a powerful batting lineup to come as well.
Final ball for Isan. Drops short. Outside edge, and it's flown off the bat of Marage. And Maximo signalled, well, Italy, fantastic start for them at the first 5, 87 for none.
Well, maybe Isan will say that he's a quick bowler then, because the edge does carry for 6. And so it takes us to the end of the over. It's 87 without loss after 5. Want to say a big warm welcome to you wherever you're watching from around the world. Vinny Sandu, Mr. Maximo for ECN on a sunny Tuesday and around lunchtime at the moment on the Costa del Sol. Andrew Ryan with me. Corey Rucker's hopefully to make an appearance a little bit later in the day. Rico's off today, but I'm sure he's keeping abreast of what's happening around the world. Now, yesterday was a big day, World Food Day, of course, and we have our charity partner, the World Food Programme, as part of the Share the Meal initiative. It's a UN-backed organisation, helps millions and millions of people every year. So if you're able to, if you're in a position to help, all you have to do is scan the QR code. I'll put the link in the comment section as well. And we got involved yesterday. I've got my empanada pledge at the moment, and they're shut last night, but tonight I'll do a few. And I donate 1 meal for every empanada that I eat.
I think it's a lovely thought from you, Vinny, and once again linking your empanada addiction to helping kids around the world. It's a wonderful program.
Addiction has a negative connotation, but I'll just say
you've got to make the best of these things, don't you?
Trying to get cultural, but no, honestly, there's been lots of great initiatives around the ground here as well to support that program, and obviously want to keep ECN free for as much of the world as possible. It's such a tremendous source of entertainment and joy for a lot of people, so it's a way that you maybe can create a bit of joy in someone else's life. And as far as this game here, the red versus the blues, and it's kind of Team Spain that have got the blues at the moment, I think. They've been hit to all corners in the first 5 overs of the day.
I called it the Mediterranean melee at the start of the coverage, Vinny, but it feels like it's only one team that's throwing the punches at the moment. Italy right on top. I guess the one shining light for Spain is that they've at least managed to keep the run rate reasonable, 17.4 at the moment, but still with these two out there and plenty of wickets back in the pavilion. These last 5 overs, important for Spain if they can keep it around 160 possibly. Salim Dar, well, a couple of nifty overs against the Irish last night. It was probably the pick of the Spanish bowlers.
I suppose what we've learnt is that to bat someone out of the game, I don't know if you can. Maybe you need 200. You know, because let's say they get 170 here. Who's to say that Spain can't chase it down? So, yeah, it hasn't been to plan for the hosts so far. But they can still fight back in the second and perhaps pull off a big chase.
Short ball, big swing across the line. Probably one of the few uncontrolled shots from this Italian opening pair so far. Salim Dar hits the pitch fairly hard, gets a little bit of a way swing. Good control over his line and length. Another one where he's hit the deck hard. Isan's got a bit of work to do. doesn't complete the task. Salim Dar probably got a right to be slightly disappointed. Gave it the big dive. At this point, the ball just skipped off the turf. And you're going a little bit quicker, although, Viddy, this outfield is really, really sharp today.
It's probably the best condition we've seen. I mean, this time of year, it really does race. And right now, they're using the outfield sometimes, but other times they're going over the top. Arms up. And he put the brakes on.
Oh, it's not an attractive way to bring up what has been a very good half-century for Nakvi. Certainly probably one of the poorest shots he's played today, but he won't care one iota. 53 off 21, and the Italians 96 for none. It's been an impressive stint from these two.
Yeah, just the pace of arms are being used, but Nakvi, he's got shots all around the ground, doesn't he? Such a good player to watch when he's on. Plays his cricket for, you know who? Fresh Tropical. One of my favourite team names, not just mine, in European cricket. And they are three-time ECS champions up there in the north of Italy.
Good length ball from Salim Dar.
The first time we saw...
Where does that come from? What's the story behind it?
It's to do with the company, I think, that is behind sponsors the team. So, yeah, Fresh Tropical, the first time we saw that team name, we thought, okay, this is going to be... They'll probably be pretty lousy. Well, they weren't lousy. They were very good. Amir Sharif plays for them as well. Zahid Shima, friend of the network. Hello to all the Fresh Tropical guys, if they're watching. I'm sure they are. Okay, not a bad over from Hamza here, but now he's going to get pounded on the up, and that one ain't coming back, Rhino. Maximo. That one was a hill-topper.
Ain't coming back. He's going to need visa paper to get back into the country. That poor Grizzly ball, that has been sent flying. What timing.
Yeah, what a shot. And it's just incredible timing. We see, if you get the pull wrong, if you're slightly late on it, it normally goes straight up in the air and it's an opportunity, but Nakvi, he wasn't late. He was spot on there, and what we thought was an okay over now probably goes back to a draw if it's a dot. There's a boundary. Certainly it's another win for Team Italy. They brought up the 100 now in the sixth over as well.
Well, skipper DDC down there with his paceman. He's been talking frequently with his bowlers throughout this innings, but nothing feels like it's working. It's a good ball in the block hole. Salim Dar fielding off his own bowling, so good finish. Not a bad over in the scheme of things. 15 off it, and the Italians 102. No wickets down. Still 4 overs to go.
Both these openers doing a really good job. I mean, Nakvi's had most of the strike, but actually Marage's strike rate's better. I mean, you can see Nakvi's faced 4 overs and Marage's faced 2 out of the 6. And you just look at who's still to come, and you probably don't want to see that if your team's Spain. So they're not going to run out of batting here. It's just a matter of trying to stack up a few small victories to just take a dot or a 1, no matter who's at the other end. Obviously, normally you take a wicket and it changes the dynamic a little bit. Maybe someone comes out and dots up a couple or doesn't whack them straight away, but sometimes they do. All right, so it's going to be Raja Adil to bowl over number 7.
Good ball in the block. Well, as he did in his first over, gets an outside edge. First ball, this one a little bit thicker. Ahmed nowhere near it, flies off to the boundary. Italy 106 for none.
Yeah, well, Waste, despairing dive there. Was just out of his range. That was a bit of luck. But you make your own luck, as they say in the classics. Marage, 42 off 13. He plays his cricket for Roma CC. And hello to all those guys, very big friends of the ECN, because they host a European Cricket Series every year.
Not quite as creative as Fresh Tropical as far as club names go.
But they love a good time.
Good Yorker. He actually hasn't bowled too badly in this game, a deal. Oh, just dug out by Maraga, who's actually done a good job to stay scoring at such a high rate when he has so infrequently had the strike. It's been dominated by Nakvi today. I tell you what, Spain, they're not out of this by any stretch.
They are not.
Considering Italy hasn't lost a wicket, considering they haven't had a single over in single figures, They're still there or thereabouts, although they may not be so much after that ball is sent flying into the treetops. That's a wonderful strike from Nakvi, and he races along to 65.
Wow, that is absolutely moosed. That's still on the way up, I think, when it passed the trees. Hope they locked the dogs up over there. There's a few incoming grizzly bears on the attack, and Nakvi, he's dealing here in the first innings of the day.
Good cricket shot. Adil tries to go for the Yorker, speared in at leg stump. Nakvi gets his footwork right, wrists just flicking the ball behind square. That's exquisite batting.
Yeah, really nice timing. It hasn't all been, well, actually none of it's been what I call sloggy. You know, he's playing genuine cricket shots. He's backing himself. Nakvi, we saw from his wagon wheel when he brought up his 50. He had all the spokes of the wheel. You can stick a circle of rubber around that and cycle your way down to the local corner shop. And he's not in a stroll at the moment. He is going quickly. Both these guys are. Spain, still no wickets here on the second morning.
Oh, another full toss. Not as cleanly off the bat that occasion, but it doesn't matter. He carries the boundary by a good 20 metres, and Nakvi continues to punish this Spanish attack.
Yeah, height-wise, I think it's just below, but the ball doesn't stay below. It gets hammered up and out of the ground, maximo 6 runs. And no matter what happens, looks like Spain are going to be chasing a bunch, but still the wind predictor saying a 1 in 4 chance to do that. I think they have to hold them in this last 3 overs. Now this is just going to fall into a pocket of space, and that's frustrating. Alger does the fielding, but the first false shot we've seen in a while falls into space.
You know, it's your day when you miss time 1 for the first time all game, and it manages to fall a couple of metres short. But things going the Italian way at the moment. They are 124, no wickets down. Still 3 overs to go.
Yeah, 61 days to go until the ECCW. Really excited about that. In fact, both these teams will be represented in the first ever Euros of women's cricket. 5 nations, 24 matches over 6 days, 17 to 22 December. And it will be right here at the Kartama Oval. Now, it is our first time doing ECCW, so we're still trying to put together the plan of how that will work. But I know that there's a lot of excited cricketers around Europe that can't wait for their shot at a European trophy. And yeah, it'll be Spain as well as Italy. Also, we'll see the Netherlands here. We'll see France. We'll see Austria. The Netherlands team, they would start favourites, I think, but they'll also be a bit weakened, I think, by a few players that might be playing in the Southern Hemisphere in the Northern winter. So, interested to see what the squads will be for that. We'll probably know 1 or 2 weeks beforehand.
Some people doing some very good things with the women's cricket around the European continent. That will be something to look out for. And someone that Spain needs to do some good things. Madia Rahman, first time at the bowling crease today. It's a decent fullish length. Nakvi would have had dreams of pumping that over mid-wicket, but as it is, just missed times. Strikes it down the ground for a single.
Yeah, Matty, he's, I suppose he's the hero from yesterday against Jersey. For having said that, did get whacked for a few maximos before that, but all's well that ends well. Coming on to close here.
Short ball, off speed, but Marage, he's only just reached it from outside off stump, but has managed to drag it across. He makes his way to 49, 1 short of the half ton. Italy continuing to roll along. Yeah,
well picked that time by Marage. Just had to hold his shot back a little bit. Gets just enough. You can see that slightly slower ball. Not a lot of foot movement there. Just kind of plays on length. These guys, they back their hands, they back their eyes so much. They have to, I think, in these conditions. Marage to 49 for Italy.
Full ball. Drives it nicely, but Alger coming around from mid-wicket, and that's a much-deserved half-ton from Marage. Only 16 balls required.
Yeah, Marage, not too much fuss about that. And says, okay, that's 50 down. Maybe 50 to go, although he doesn't have too much time to do that. Maragate, former first-class cricketer in the Sri Lankan setup as well. Also a pretty handy left-arm spinner.
One's dragged down the leg side, and it's helped on its way by Naqvi. He's in exquisite form, and there's some danger signs coming up for the Spanish. Thought Naqvi might have been on century watch, but Maragate's faced a couple of balls this over.
Yeah.
Still got time.
Such quick hands to get out in front there. That's the ball that, if you're not quite on, it probably clonks into your pad or thigh pad. He sends that one out to the jungle. It lands just by the ghost chair. We used to have the ghost cube. Now we've got the ghost chair out there. Anyway, Naqvi to 83.
Good Yorker. Just gets to drop on the crease, driven down for a single.
Shows you how things can change so quickly. I mean, Italy got outplayed by Denmark in their first game in the ECC, and it was quite a comprehensive performance by the Danes, but in the end, Italy were on the rise and Denmark on the slide a little bit towards the end. Italy got the qualification, but I think they're showing they're not just here to make up the numbers. They've already knocked over the Dutch, and right now they've got Team Spain on the back foot. Last ball of the over.
Good ball. Rahman comes from wide of the crease. Just misses leg stump. Maragate, a rare play and miss. That's the end of the over. Another pretty successful one for the Italians. They're on 139. His over's gone.
Yeah, Zayn Naqvi down there, bottom of page 2. So he actually made the last century before the ECC began. And so could he be on there again? Possibly.
And the man at number 3 on that century list as well,
deploy.
Ahmad Sharif.
Yeah, Ahmad Sharif is there earlier in the year.
Due to come in next, although he's probably getting cramps just sitting on the chair doing nothing back in the pavilion for the first 8 overs. Well, you called it, Vinny. The skipper needing to step up. DDC standing at the top of his mark.
I think with Matty there, you saw when he got a Yorker in, actually had a decent result. I just don't think we've seen that many of them.
DDC goes length. It's not a bad ball, but it's just helped around by Naqvi. Everything going his way at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think he quite has that where he wants it. He wants to get it up in the block hole. And it's not quite there. And, yeah, okay, a bit fortunate for the batter, no doubt.
Must be an internal conversation going on in the DDC head. It's been in the ear of most of his bowlers throughout this innings so far. That's on length, and it's sent flying over the long off boundary. That stayed in the sky for an eternity, and DDC goes for 10 off his first 2 balls. Naqvi, he's 1 shot away from a century.
Yeah, it's a really, really good shot. Really good shot, and this will be an excellent view of it here as well. Where he just picks this one up. It's a genuine cricket shot, just elevated. All right, here we go then. Naqvi on 94.
And he goes big again. He completes an Italian renaissance here at the Cardamom Oval. Raises his hands in celebration. Maragate, the first one there to congratulate him. And what an innings of striking from Zayn Naqvi. 100 off 34 balls.
Yeah, what an innings. And that really shows you he has hit the ball so well all around the Cardamom Oval. With a strike rate of something approaching 3 a ball. He has taken this attack apart. No one's been safe in a red shirt. And this is the shot that brings it up. Again, plays off length. Kind of opens up that front leg a little bit. Gets quite square on, but such power from Naqvi. His 2nd century of the ECN season, and he's still got an over and a half to play with. Brought up the 150 as well for Team Italy.
So 9 balls to go here, Vinny. Still 200 within reach. Oh, especially when they're getting served half-trackers, but somehow, after barely missing a ball all day, he's taken a half-track ball from DDC's medium paces and hit it straight down the throat. The fielder there at forward square leg. The end to a fantastic innings from Naqvi. Yeah,
an incredible innings, and always feels a bit better getting out for 100 compared to 99, I'll tell you that much. But he didn't quite get that. Isan, who's now a bowler who fields a bit, takes the catch on the leg side boundary. But what an innings for Naqvi. He lit it up this morning, and Italy have that opening partnership broken. It's 155 for 1.
Oh, sensational start, but I think a look at the replay there. I think Naqvi was actually done for the lack of pace. You can see that the bottom hand engaged just dragged itself over the top of the bat. The bat face closed and couldn't get the elevation that needed, but a magnificent innings from this young man. An even 100 of only 35 balls, so he has put this Italian team in prime position to register their second consecutive win. But sometimes it only takes little victories, and sometimes they come off substandard bowling. And DDC, after his bowlers have been taken apart here today, he won't be the least bit disappointed to see that one end up in Hassan's hands. And that's precisely why you bring the new batter out, Rajmani Sandhu, the left-hander, coming out at first drop. It only takes winning an over and a half, Vinny, and that will give the Spanish some confidence going into their chase.
I know, this is certainly not a foregone conclusion at all. But what a knock by Naqvi. Rajmani comes out and he swings and misses it too. So how quickly things can change. Maybe a bit of an off-speed ball there from DDC. Well, he won't like me saying this, but he has more wickets than runs now in the last 4.5 matches. And after 9 overs, it's 155 for 1.
Probably won't like it, but facts are facts, Vinny. Mind you, may have found himself a new role as a later overs bowler. A couple of changes of pace. I mean, look at that bowling card. 16 runs and over. It's not actually a bad return in the overall scheme of things. Isn't it amazing what can happen in T10 as well? I mean, if you bowled a slow ball halfway down the track, about a metre wide of off stump in any other form of the game, it would be considered a dreadful ball. But when you've got players really trying to smoke everything, as you can see, extracted a couple of plays and misses from Sandhu. Final over. That one's just lofted over the infield. Wasn't a bad ball from Salim Dar, but he hasn't got any protection out there on the offside. They've got their 3 straightish, as you say, the Southern Cross field, Vinny, but no one patrolling that offside boundary.
Yeah, nice shot. Well, a few people in the chat suggesting keep your schedule open, Rhino, in case we don't get Corey for the next game, depending on how this next 11 overs goes. His arms up.
Not sure he'll get up the stairs carrying so much emotional baggage if they have a second loss here.
Obviously, he's pretty pragmatic about Spain's chances as well. You know, missing Babar, for example, Mohamed Babar, unavailable for this week. Even the team in the first place is quite a different looking team to last year, but still got the same kind of culture, the same game plan. Got players buying into it. And now look, Naqvi's taken his rightful place at number 35. So he has 30 and 35 on the century list here in season 2023. And that's 2 centuries in 2 days. You know what? Spain have been on the receiving end both times. Tim teched up with that ton yesterday.
Few question marks over the Rutgers fielding and bowling plans.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Spain, they've restricted some of the other players we haven't been able to face.
Sandhu heaves it across and just over the head of Matiur Rahman. Made a valiant leap to try to take the catch one-handed. Sandhu finally makes contact.
Well, I know that Hamza and Matiur Rahman have played a fair bit of club cricket together. Well, Hamza with some free advice to Mati to jump higher, but to be honest, I don't think he could have done a lot more there to try and bring that one down.
The hands, the gesticulations. He's looking like he's auditioning for the Italian team.
I think he said, nice try. Now the next one is going to be pounded through the covers, and that's 4 as well. So Rajmani, after a couple of misses, bringing this innings home with a bang.
Yeah, just open up the front leg. It's been a profitable area for them. Spain like leaving that offside boundary open. There's no sweeper at cover or point. And the Italian batters, for the most part, have been good enough to manipulate the ball to those open spaces. 2 balls to go. Kept it away from that 200 mark, which, the way that Naqvi was going, was a big fear. A double century could have been brought up, but as it is, somewhere between 170, 180. Length ball gets through to the keeper.
All right, so 170. What I will tell you is this. We have had a couple of 170 chases pulled off this year. Not here, but why not here? When we're seeing these kind of scores with alarming regularity. So, yeah, 175 is the highest successful chase. Right now, they'll be chasing 171. Could we see records smashed? Rajmani, last chance for him to add to the score.
Well, he does. He tries to go big. DDC takes a good catch. And Vinny, those little moments, that goes for 6. Chasing 176. A bit tougher than 170. DDC takes a catch.
Well, I mean, in the coaching manual, I always tell you you'd rather chase 171 than 177, as you said. And so DDC did his bit to try and keep things down. There's Zane Nakvi, though. Wasn't he incredible with his century and even 100 here to set up this? It's the perfect checkout for Italy. 170 for 2 off the 10 overs. And Spain, well, they will be on the chase. And look, make no bones about it. They'll feel this is a winnable game. For sure, they're behind at this stage, objectively speaking. But Team Italy, you've got to say they were brilliant. Could see the trophy there. Dave B in the background as well.
Well, they got the trophy there. Surely they need a statue of Dave B at some point as well.
I think so. Well, there is the trophy making its appearance here in Championship Week at the Cartama Oval. Great to see the cricket school kids as well getting involved. But yeah, the Italian openers were in no mood for mercy, were they? They were going pretty much from ball 1. Nakvi had the lion's share of the strike. In fact, Marage batted with him, but he only faced pretty much 3 overs out of the 10. But the whole point was whoever was on strike, they were attacking. And no matter what, Spain threw at Italy, and they threw some unusual options, unusual combinations at them, but he seemed to have their measure. It was a sparkling knock.
Sparkling knock, but one that also was very selective in terms of the balls they went hard at. Vinny mentioned earlier in the coverage, there weren't a huge amount of injudicious swipes. It was just controlled striking. And both Nakvi and Marage showed that they're very good all-round batters. And frankly, no matter what the Spanish threw at them, they looked like they were always in complete control this innings. Things went on, they found the boundary and over it with greater regularity. Spanish kept on trying, and as I said, they threw some different bowling options at them, but in the end, it was just power hitting from the Italian openers.
Yeah, and we had a few treetops in there as well. Okay, the odd moment of luck as well. And there's the famous pen that we see the Italians working with, and Corey does have that pen as well, so maybe he'll be able to use it to get them out of a jam here. But Nakvi, he just kept on swinging. If possible, he got even better after 50, didn't he? Just good shot selection and execution here. He rarely premeditates. I think he just kind of stands still, sees where the ball is, and plays the right shot for the occasion. And Marage, he got into the act when he got a chance. Like I said, didn't have so much of the strike, but he had a great view at 22 yards. Daniel Delacaya came on as another option. And that was the moment. Nakvi brings up his century. And the Azuri are loving his work. But then soon after, he would go. Well caught by Isan out there on the boundary. But always feels good if you have to get out to have the 3 figures next to your name. And late in the piece, they were still going, weren't they? Marage was there. Rajmani started with a couple of misses, but then a couple of bangs as well from the left-hander. Italy, 1-7-0. Spain, well, a bit emotional out there. You can understand that. Didn't go to plan, but they're still very capable. Remember when they were chasing the 2-1-7 yesterday? They ended up with 165. 171, well, that's just one more hit away. So, although Italy well on top, Spain certainly not without a chance.
Indeed not, Vinny. This one could be a tight one, in particular if that man DDC gets himself off the mark. That could give himself the confidence to go on and play a match-defining innings. But as it is, Italy have put themselves in a very, very good position. 170 for 2 off their 10 overs. The main man, Zane Nakvi at the top. And even 100 off only 35 balls, and he was given exceptional support by Marage, who really didn't get bogged down at any time. 55 off 19 for him, and then a little cameo at the end of Rajmani Sandhu, 10 off 6 before he was victim on the final ball of the innings. Vinny, not an attractive bowling card for the Spanish.
Yeah, well, it's not. Delacaya with 16 of his over seems okay. Mati Rahman, likewise. I mean, these are the guys that are slightly below average for the innings. Hamza Saleem Dar as well, 1 for 30. But interesting, I mean, they do try 7 different options, so, you know, trying not to make a sameness about it. They tried Atif Mohammed up front. That was okay, but again, didn't get the breakthrough I think they were looking for. Maybe missing a bit of spin in there. They tried Isan this time. Baba Khan got an over as well. But, you know, well, the bowling's done. Now it's time for the bats to get them out of this situation. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes and we'll have the second half. And let's see if somebody for Equipo Rojo can step up and get the 171 for their team to take them to 2 points. Or will it be Italy? 2 out of 2. Vinny Sandhu here, Mr. Maximo with Andrew Ryan. We'll see you after this short break with more Dream 11 European Cricket Championship.
European Cricket Championship is proudly brought to you by Dream 11, HCL Software, Junta de Andalucía, and Stake.com, and the official charity partner, Share the Meal, by the United Nations World Food Programme.
European cricket family, thank you for joining us back here at the Cardimer Oval in the glorious Andalucía region of Spain. We're here for the Mediterranean melee between Spain and Italy, and it was a little bit one-way traffic in the first innings as the Italians put on a hefty 170 for 2 from their 10 overs. In particular, Zayn Nakvi, Centurion, his second century in recent times in T10 cricket. He is a wonderful player to watch. And he's left the Spanish team with a pretty hefty task in order to chase down their second win of the tournament. They can't chase this down than that tight win against Jersey yesterday, looking even more valuable, particularly after they were given a bit of a touch-up by the Irish 11 yesterday afternoon. But it's total 171 the target, certainly not out of reach for the Spanish by any stretch. Their batting is most definitely their strength, and it's been quite a number of games, 4 in particular, that the skipper, DDC, Daniel Doyle has not registered a run, and I don't think he's just due, he's overdue more than in the library book back in the 90s. He has to be scoring, and scoring heavily sooner rather than later. And just as we're having a little bit of a break before proceedings get away, excellent opportunity to bring Mr. Maximo back to the commentary.
Jaspreet's going off, and I think this is to do with the fact he's wearing long white sleeves. And I think there are some kind of rules about what you can have on your bowling arm. So if you had black sleeves, for example, it's not a problem, but he's going to go off quickly and be replaced. Well, I think he's going to try and take those off, because I think the plan was for him to bowl, or bowl soon. So just a little bit of an aside there to get us going. And that is, of course, with a white ball. You're not meant to have any kind of white on your bowling hand or arm.
I'd like to point out, this is second consecutive day that we've had a 12th man enter the field before a ball has been bowled in an innings. Yesterday, Big Babar Khan had to go off after injuring himself in his first ball run-up. Now we've had Jaspreet sent off for a clothing indiscretion.
I like that. Yeah, sent off for a wardrobe malfunction. Anyway, DDC, he's on 4 consecutive ducks. Not that I want to mention it. He'll get a run and he'll feel 1,000% better. And
I hope he raises his bat to the crowd.
Doesn't even need to. Doesn't even need to. He's off, that's 1, but hopefully more to come. Mohamed Yassin faces up now. Left hand have been brought into the squad as cover for his Pakistan teammate, Mohamed Babar, actually. So left-hander at the top. Amir Sharif does get the first over for the Italians.
Going back to DD's shot there, that was probably one of the most tentative strokes I've seen.
It's a shot of a man that needs a run, let's be honest.
Did not want to have 5 ducks on the track. Neither did Derek. Derek's having a rest this morning, so he wasn't interested, as that one's just dragged down the leg side. Called wide. Yeah, Sharif hits the pitch pretty hard. He's not a particularly tall man, but he's got long limbs and gets up that bowling arm fairly high.
Yeah, he does. No, he's a really talented cricketer. We didn't see him with the bat today, but he's a very good hitter as well. Wasn't required in the first innings.
That one sent down with a reasonable pace, but swing wide down the leg side. So this left-right combination, I know it's something that coach and tactical guru Corey Rutgers really does like to filter throughout their batting lineup.
Good old-fashioned left-hand, right-hand combination at the top, especially with the ball swinging around. Can cause the bowler a few problems with their control. Couple swung down the leg side by Sharif early on.
Lovely swing of the bat. I tell you what, that has gone flat, but it has gone far. So the arms go up from the umpire to signal Maximo. He just helps that around backward of square using the pace of the bowler.
Yeah, really nicely turned on, and you can kind of see which way Sharif's swinging the ball. It's right to left on your screen, so the left-hander is just waiting for it to come in. He seems a bit more traditional, I think, than other players. I mean, he's scored a bunch of first-class centuries in the Pakistani system.
Oh, there's nothing unorthodox about that strike. The top hand and the high elbow, glorious stuff technically, and what a strike.
Yeah, what a shot. There's a bit of swagger about that from Yassine. I mean, I wouldn't say he's got a reputation as a snail, but I think sometimes the fact he's so technical, people get the wrong impression that he can't hit. Well, look at that. That's a really good shot.
Straight out of the Maximo coaching manual. Oh, good ball, late swing. I think that's going down the leg side. That's a good call from the umpire. Excellent bowling from Sharif, though.
Yeah, it's, late tail. You can see it's going down the leg side by quite a lot, but still, it's good movement. A bit fuller. Maybe the difference as well. Good appeal.
I actually don't think it was missing by that much. It
Stump and a
swung
half.
late.
Stump and a half. I think if you slow it down, see it actually hit him.
Great call, though. Yeah, back onto the pads again. An even worse appeal than last time, but and DDC alert to the opportunity, so they will scoot through for the one.
I should also say these two played for Pakaiket together at the ECL earlier in the year. Dagador Kaya was playing for Pakaiket. Pakaiket finishing 4th in the end.
Big inside edge on that one too. So, hence the muted appeal from Sharif. So Spanish, 16 for none. Bright start from them. They need to make an impact in this power play. A few changes to the field from Mary's. Bring the man in from deep square. Probably sensible with where he's swinging it. Decent ball. Played on the up by Dorokai, and just struck straight down to the ground. Well fielded by Simranjit Singh, and that is the end of the first over. And Spain, right on target, 17 for none.
Yeah, well, first over's a draw. They're 93 matches since the Golden Ball. I can tell you, if we had a 170 Golden Ball, it would be our highest ever Golden Ball total, because the highest is actually 167 at the moment. So that'd be a new record. So if we're going to have a Golden Ball, make it a big one. Now, Corey, what pen is he using here? He's using the single colour pen. I would have thought that maybe he would be using the multicoloured one, but anyway.
I like the way he's put away the colouring book during that film segment and taken out a pretend notebook.
It's his thinking face. It's one you don't often see in his commentary, actually. But
probably not what his teachers saw back during his time at school.
Jaspreet's back, and his long sleeves are gone. He's going to bowl over number 2.
Oh, well, maybe he needs to put the sleeves back on because he's been hoisted over mid-wicket. And that is the DDC we've come to know and love. What a strike.
Yeah, fraction short, pounces on it. Back deep in the crease. Look at his back foot. It's always back behind the line. This would be a pretty shot of it. Scrambled seam from Jaspreet. Well, time for DDC to roll up the sleeves and get stuck in to this big total. Brilliant shot first up.
That would have felt good, wouldn't it, Vinny, after being on a one-way walk down Struggle Street for the back end of the group stage and the start yesterday of Championship Week. That one's on length, and he's gone to mid-wicket again. Just heaved for a second Maximo off the over, and Singh may wishing he'd stayed off the field.
Yeah, maybe. Again, he knows he's got a bit of this. He has a bit of bottom hand, comes into it towards the end, but you can see they're pretty happy about it, but they know there's a lot more work to be done here.
So DDC races long to 14 off 4. Such a good play. He knew that he had to come to the 4 eventually. Good change of pace. Ball goes high off the bat. And he's just got enough willow on it for it to go for a boundary, but excellent change-up from Singh.
Yeah, you know what? That's really good bowling. I don't think DDC picks this until it's too late, and then he's hyper-concerned. This has been skied to the infield, but as luck would have it, and let's be honest, he hasn't had a lot of luck. He gets a bit there. So the universe evens out for him, and he gets what really is a fortunate boundary.
You know what I like about that slower ball too, Vinny, that it's not just a case of dropping the pace, but he's also getting some extravagant drop on the ball. So it's popping off the pitch, contributed to DDC lacking control in the shot. That one ripped the fingers over the top. cut to a man from backward point, no run.
But you're right about the slower ball. I mean, it's one thing to bowl a slow ball, but the disguise is super important. And I do think the arm speed was still there. And so, I mean, Spain given a 40% shot at this. But, you know, when you've got a huge mountain to climb, you just got to break it up into kind of manageable steps. And I think the 17 and over is a manageable step. They pretty much have them off this over already with 2 to come.
Another one really, really rolled the fingers over the top of that ball. He's actually getting some decent sideways movement from the cutter.
But there's the 17. And you got a ball to play with. It's like a bonus ball here. You can see DDC looks focused. He certainly has the respect of the group with what he's done for this team since he's been involved. Very calm kind of guy, very skillful kind of a guy. I'll probably go back and play some cricket in South Africa over the southern summer. Last ball of the second, Yassine gets the strike back.
Length ball, Yassine might have felt like that was a opportunity for a Maximo over square leg, but maybe just a touch full up for the shot that he tried to play it. Anyway, end of an interesting over. Singh goes for 18, and Spain 2 overs down. They're 35 for none.
We're having a look at the table. I think we mentioned five matches so far, 5 winners, and well, whoever wins this, they'll be top of the table with 2 wins, of course. Jersey and Netherlands missing out on day 1, although we only saw the Netherlands once, so we will see them twice today. But there's no easy games. Netherlands, the defending champions, will play the Ireland 11 in the middle game, and then the England 11 in the night game tonight.
Vinny, we're 12 overs into this contest. Still not one over has ended up in single figures.
Right.
These big chasers usually only takes 1, maximum 2 overs to knock the batting team off balance.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Can Zain Ali deliver here?
Well, it's a pretty ordinary ball, and that's a pretty good shot from Yassine. The ball held up in the deck, had to wait for it, and somehow generated enough power playing away from his body.
Yeah, well, as much as that earlier Maximo was pretty, this one was a little bit of a stretch, literally. I mean, he just got a good enough contact to get it up and over the boundary, but he was kind of desperate for everything he could. It wasn't really timing there. It was desperation. They got that over the line.
Oh, another gorgeous shot from Yassine. That high elbow on full display again, and Ali been hit for 2 Maximos to start his over. Spain not only up with the rate, feeling like they're growing in confidence.
Yeah, fantastic shot, really. That's exactly what they were hoping for out of Yassine, and he's delivering at the moment. Turning out to be a good selection.
Oh, gorgeous stuff again from Yassine. Right in the slot from Ali, and he's been pumped for a succession of Maximos off his first 3 balls.
Yeah, what a shot this is as well. And yeah, doesn't bother running. He hits it, he knows, he's nailed it.
Clean hitting. Once again, as we saw in the first innings from the Italian openers, it's technically very good cricket. Might be hitting elevated fashion, but not having to take too many risks in doing it. And Zain Ali ringing the changes in the field, bringing deep mid wicket in. Fielder back to long on. Goes in the slot again, and Yassine dispatches him. Maximo, 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 Maximo to start the over.
Well, this is a bonus over, and you don't get too many of them when your starting rate is 17. So, I mean, if Spain can get this down to 15s, maybe that's the new part. I mean, we're seeing some insane stuff at the moment in this European Cricket Championship.
Question for you, Vinny. What is the collective noun for a group of Maximos?
A gaggle?
A gaggle of Maximos?
I don't know. Maybe someone should tell a murder of Maximos?
Oh, murder. I like something that's got a bit of alliteration with it. Maybe we can... Well, I haven't actually... I was thinking a mashup of Maximos, but I'm not sure that's elite. Maybe we could open it up to the YouTube
mongoose
chat.
of Maximos? I don't know. It's a good question, though.
A missing of Maximos.
Well, we've seen 4 in 4. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we've seen 5 in 4. Maybe not. He hasn't got a great piece of that, and it's actually been taken well off the bat. I thought Yassine was smoking him for a 5th success of Maximo. As it is, it's gone higher than it has gone longer. And that's actually a very, very good catch because that ball sat in the air from an eternity.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Off the bat, looked like he might have timed it out of the ground again, but it was just too high, not far enough. Simran comes from the other end of the field to take it, and he's got such a good pair of hands. So, I mean, you take that, though, 4-4, 4-4 and out, considering the batting they've got to come. Looks like Hamza Salim Dar is going to come out at first drop. But you've seen, certainly gives them what they want. In fact, he faces 10 balls, 6 of them go for Maximos. He goes for 38, and the score 59 for 1.
Excellent innings from Yassine. He's done his job at the top of the order. Sure, the skipper be giving him plenty of congratulations when he gets back to the pavilion himself. But Spain, this little opening partnership, put themselves in a reasonable position to at least make a crack at this chase. I guess one thing Italy's done here with that wicket is brought a new batter to the crease, which took an awful long time for Spanish bowling lineup to do the same. They might rue that dropped catch from Awais Ahmed. The bowling of Raja Adil early-ish in their innings.
I like left-hander for left-hander here as well. Keeps the left hand, right hand in check.
Well, Salim Dar, he goes high, but he goes much longer. What a way to start your innings. And poor Ali goes to the 1 wicket, 5 Maximos, so 30 off his contribution. And the Spanish rolling along, 65 for 1 after the power play.
Ali gets him 1 punch, but he's pretty much knocked to the canvas, isn't he? With a supersonic over that's also a successful over in a way. But I think the 1 for 37 certainly is a win for the team Spain. In fact, that's the highest scoring over of this game so far. I mean, it's just solid overs. 13 the cheapest. That was the first over of the day. First supersonic, we had 3 magicals, but just such consistent scoring. Wow, it's quite incredible what we're seeing this year. And now they're going to try something different. And Damit Kosala, with his left arm spin, he's got a hat trick here actually at the Euros of Cricket 2 years ago. And I think he had the 4 in 4 dropped. That's how my memory has it anyway. DDC to face up.
Nicely flighted, and DDC opens up the face, sends that backward of point, races away for a boundary.
I got the rate down to 156 pace, which is a lot more reasonable, isn't it? I wouldn't say this is very authoritative from DDC. He drives it away, but he gets the timing. Give him a bit of credit there, maybe lets it come to him, opens the blade a little bit, gets the gap. 23 off 8 for the skipper at the moment.
Oh, flighted, given the opportunity to get underneath it, and Kai smokes it over the long off boundary for Maximo.
That's the shot. That's his shot right there. Okay, goes with the angle, doesn't fight it. A lot of batters try and hit this one leg side, but I think he's so strong over cover, that's the odds. And also Kosala, he's going for this kind of Floydy type angle of trying to get very, very across the right-hander. So a lot of left arm orthodox bowlers, they'll go round the wicket, they'll try and slide it in, turn it away or not, and kind of put the batter in 2 minds. But Kosala, he's going over the wicket, but Dorkayo with a nice counter.
Good footwork on that occasion too. Quicker ball, Dorkayo.
Spain 61% favourites now.
Who would have thought?
Oh, wow.
76 for 1, 3.5 overs. Goes short, and he's pumped. Salim Dar sent it flying over the long-on boundary, and Spain are starting to believe.
Well, I know that we talk a lot about the ECN robot in the comment section, but there are a few six-hitting robots out there. I mean, these guys are so good at going over, and yeah, Hamza looks at the bottom of the bat, knows it wasn't quite out of the middle, but he's so strong. And when you've got players that can miss-hit sixes, they're the ones that are really worth their weight in gold, and Hamza's one of them.
Goes short again. Hamza almost throws himself off his feet. It's nicely fielded. Fernando coming around from mid-wicket. Keeps to the 1. Just a quick one for you, Vinny. Bit of chat from the team. We've got Cricket Mania, a muddle of Maximos, a medley of Maximos. We've got Gary Nunn, a maxim of Maximos. James Stewart, a morass of Maximos.
Moraga of Maximos.
It's not bad. It's just chipped out. Fielder charges in from long off. Actually does a good job there.
Manjit Singh is a weapon in the field. You know, he's once taken 5 catches in an innings, for example, in Barcelona, playing club cricket there. Right now, it is the end of the 4th over. It's 84 for 1.
Quite like this from Gordon Tansey, a massacre of Maximos.
It's good, but it's a bit morbid.
You don't think a little element of violence should be in there? I mean, we're talking about
I did
probably
say murder.
4 or more. Murder is
I
about
did
as
say
violent
that.
as it can get.
I did say that early. Well, maybe if the robot wants to put a poll up, if the robot's listening, I know the robot's pretty busy, maybe that's how we'll decide. That's how we decided, Derek. Let's have a look at the highest chases. This would place at 3rd all-time highest run chases if they were to do it. They're chasing 171 here. Right now they're in the box seat, Spain, but there's still a lot to go, and I've seen a lot of these go wrong, even after a good start, as Jaspreet continues in the 5th.
That one onto off stump, and DDC has sent that delivery flying. He is charging.
That's a brilliant shot. You know, what makes this? It's the fast hands. But see, he's there, and he just releases the hands at the right moment. And it's like a swat. It has to be timed perfectly. Look at this here. Look at the wrists break. And that's what creates the extra hand speed and bat speed, which means that that ball ends up next door. We'll have to go and knock on the front door to ask for that one back later. What a shot by Daniel Dorkayak.
Just goes straight in the back door without permission as Jaspreet, wide of off stump, cut into the ground by DDC, and he scoots through for a single. It's great observation, Maxo. And tell you what, Spring Productions with that slow-mo camera, getting the opportunity to see the wrists in action. It's such a good stroke.
Maybe one day we'll be pioneering wrist cam, but maybe not in this tournament. But he has fast hands. He's got all the building blocks of a player. That's the thing. You know, he can play traditionally. He can kind of improvise a little bit as well, but main thing, he's got incredible hand-eye coordination. So does Hamza, and gets something short, and that's going to be hit over the top as well. Maximo! They just keep on charging. I mean, right now, it's Spain on 200 pace through the first half of this innings.
Boy, they really need a wicket here. The Italians, the Spanish team have rocked into favouritism in the Mediterranean melee. They didn't throw too many effective punches in the opening innings, but they have come back with a vengeance. 97 for 1. Still 3 balls to go before we're even halfway through the innings. Run rate required down to 13.5. Short ball, and it's pumped again. Whether it's a massacre, a medley, or a melee of Maximos, they are coming all over the joint, and Singh is getting demolished.
Muy fuerte from Hamza. Oh, look. Both teams have kind of gone to the ideas book, and they've pretty much seen that section ripped out, haven't they, in this game? The bowlers haven't had the answers for the bats. Doesn't matter what shirt you're wearing. I mean, Jaspreet has gone for 37 now off 10 balls. Hamza's come. He's hit 4 sixes and a 1 out of his 5 balls.
Oh, terrible ball. We'll have a look at the replay. I don't think that's going to get called no ball, but it certainly is going to get to be called Maximo.
Yeah, that's large. It's again, he's in the naughty 40s now, but look, it's kind of thigh high, maybe knee high, but helps on its way again. The timing's important there. Probably an attempted Yorker, maybe going at the stumps, but it's a misexecution from Jaspreet. And now they've got it down to 2 a ball. Having said that, you know, things can change. But right now, I don't even want to know the rate they're going. We'll know exactly after this ball, but it's well over 20 and over. In fact, it's more like 21, 22 and over.
Shot opens up the face of the bat. Singh gives him width outside off stump. He gets pumped for 49 off his 2 overs, and the Spanish 115 for 1.
What a great opportunity to welcome you into the Dream Box. Vinny Sandhu here, Mr. Maximo for ECN. Got Andrew Rhino Ryan next to me. Rico, he's off today, but he will be back tomorrow. But I know he'll be thrilled with what he's seeing here from his Equipo Rojo, the Reds of Spain. I mean, just when you think you've seen the ceiling gets smashed. And to think that Spain right now, they're on world record pace if they were to bat the 10, because they're on 230 pace at the moment against a team that just racked up 170. We said Spain had a chance at the start of this innings. Well, right now, it is more than a chance. They have to be huge favourites now to pull off the third biggest chase we've ever seen in 3,500 ECN matches.
It's going to take something extraordinary from the Italians in the field and with the ball to get themselves back into this. Halfway through this game, they were almost ready to write another win in the book. And this bowling lineup, which ran through the Dutch yesterday, has all of a sudden been shown to be short of ideas.
And could Zayn Naqvi become the third player to score 100 in a losing cause? It's only happened this year, and it happened a couple of times. We also had a century in each innings for the first time earlier in the year in Germany. So no matter how much cricket we play, you're always seeing things that we've never seen before. And that's kind of the part of the magic of ECN. And if you are enjoying it, make sure you look us up. Of course, we are on YouTube 11 months a year, ECN European Cricket Network, and you watch cricket from all around Europe. It is a breathtaking format of the game, and right now, you know, it forces you to think on your feet. We saw Spain go to a couple of unusual bowling choices just to mix things up. Maybe Italy will do the same. Maybe they have to do the same right now, because the combination of Hamza and DDC, they're very capable of taking this home for the Spaniards.
Certainly are, and they've gotten themselves well ahead of the chasing rate. So Sandhu, he's their idea.
He's a good idea as well, because he has a very, very good slower ball. It's well disguised. He's still got 2 overs. So, I mean, you still do need to go at, 11s here. So, if you get that, not a magical over, we're calling it a tragical over for the batting side, maybe 4 or less. Even like a 6 or less or something. They take anything at this stage. Still no single-digit overs in this match.
Wickets are crucial too. Just trying to get new batters at the crease. As DDC, probably not his most sparkling shot of the day, still carries the boundary. Yet another Maximo, and Spain down to an even 50 required.
Yeah, so the other thing is, when you get to Championship Week, teams do their homework. They know that Rajmani's got this over-the-wrist slower ball. DDC is kind of looking out for it, and he picks that one. Smart to hit it offside as well.
Short, wide. Coming off the bottom part of the bat, but it's enough, Willow, to send it to the boundary. Dorkai, it goes along to 48, so just short of his half century. And the confidence levels in that Spanish dressing room are sky high.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Now, I had a question from Kai. What's the record score for 5 overs? I think that is the highest ever in the first 5 overs. I have seen 5 overs that are bigger, but that was second half in the 229.
Oh, Sandy goes length again, and third consecutive ball getting to the boundary, and that is a half ton for a man who has been up against it in the last 4 games, but he comes out like the champion he is, DDC, 54 off 17 balls.
I mean, they say it in the classics, and I'll say it again. Form is temporary, class is permanent, and I love his mindset here. Wasn't any histrionics when he scored his first run in 5 innings earlier. No big bat waves or anything like that. He's just laser focused on doing what he needs to do. He approaches his game very professionally, Dorkayet. That's a great knock.
Oh, that's dragged onto the leg side, and this gamble with Sandhu hasn't worked. It's too easy for DDC. Whips the wrist through that ball, smokes it for another Maximo.
Yeah, this is carnage. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when Hungary chased the 174. They did it in 8 overs. That was in the ECI in Hungary against Sweden, and this has a little bit of that about it. It's just insane what we're watching. Rajmani's gone for 22 plus this. Make that 23. Right now, Italy still in with a prayer, but not too much more than that. It's 6 overs down, 138 for 1.
I think the Italians might be needing some divine intervention courtesy of the Vatican. They're to take victory in this game. Started off the tournament so well with a comprehensive win against the Dutch, and the bowling attack looked $1 million. This game, though, they have been absolutely carted to all parts of this Carter Oval. Daniel Dorkai atop, the skipper, 61 off 19, and Hamza Salim Dar, 37 off 7 balls. Just extraordinary hitting from him.
It's over 500. Right, they're going to go to Maraghe for something different. You're not going to get anything different from DDC. That one is going to be tough to find. Maximo into the 140s, and now it seems a matter of time until Team España are going to pull off the third largest chase in ECN history.
About the only upside for this for you is that you get a very happy Corey Rutgers in the commentary box for the next game.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone had this pegged for an early finish when there's 170 on the board. Those of you wondering what the most runs in the second 5 overs is, well, I can tell you it is 136 by Battle Sheen, and that was in that score of 229, which is the all-time high.
Maragate drifts onto middle stump. Dorkai just drags that one across to deep square for a single, and Italians can breathe easy for a moment.
That match, 16th of November 2022, it really is the last 12 months. Starting with the Barcelona Bash, as we called it, in kind of November last year, we just started seeing some outrageous hitting. Outrageous hitting. I mean, that game, 229. The other team scored 174. There were over 400 runs in that match.
Bit of air and everything going the Spanish way now. Flying off the edge of Salim Dar's bat. He races to 41 off 8 balls, and Spain 1 run short of the 150.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm not often speechless, and I wouldn't say we didn't see this coming because we knew it was very possible, but it's one thing to say it's possible and to kind of logically tell yourself it's possible, but when you see it, unbelievable. Okay, Maragate might have a wicket here, and he will. Once again, it's something different that does it. He tosses it up, and Hamza Salim Dar, of course, he wasn't going to stick around. He was on for a 10-ball 50 there. That would have tied the record, but his 9th ball is his undoing as Nish Fernando takes the catch out the leg side fence. But you can tell from the Italians right now, there's no big histrionics for them. They feel this one's already got away. 149 for 2.
Just extraordinary. If you had have told me that we'd be partway through the 7th over and Spain would have this game under their control, just would not have believed it. But collection of wonderful innings from, obviously, DDC still out there, but that man, onto Salim Dar, come out with some brutal striking. It's really powered those middle overs, but Spain, 455 strike rate. Just unbelievable. Even Rob Kemming there. Yeah. Can't believe it. Standing in admiration.
Yeah,
Coach
so
Rutgers.
9 balls faced, gets out of 1. That leaves 8. He hits 6 sixes and a 4 in there. And that's what you want. You want guys who can come out and hit straight away. So they go with the right hander. They go with Isan here in this position. What do they now need? Run a ball practically.
Bit of air. Isan drives it. Might have long off, but seeing controlling that boundary with aplomb.
Yeah, we had a question from Gordon a while ago saying, who do you bowl here? But I think you just got to go to something different, no matter what it is. Even as guys, you think, oh, they'll probably get smashed, but everyone's getting smashed anyway.
Bit of air. Cut well, but just for the single.
Maragate's a good bowler. Took a lot of wickets in the ECS. He's kind of in for his batting here, but when he was a first-class cricketer, he was more a bowler than a batter. Anyway, right now, he does have one of the better overs of this game. 1 for 13 off that one, and it's 151 for 2 after 7. Speaking of 7, Rhino, match 7 on the way, and what a clash this should be.
Germany versus England, always an emotional matchup. Tell you what, Germany were very good last night. Came up with a fantastic performance, beating the Irish 11 with ease. And England, they've been getting better as they go on. They started a little bit slowly in their group stages. Had the defeat to the Swiss just before managing to take them down in the final of the group. But they were very good yesterday against strong Jersey side. As a little bit of fancy footwork out on the wide of the mid-wicket boundary from Amir Sharif. So
good
they'll
hustle
scoot back for the 2.
Yeah, Isan spots the boots coming out and he knows there's always a chance for a 2 if that happens. So Kosala gets a second over. Is this cricket in Padova in Italy?
I like the concept of at least trying to take the pace off the ball, but that one is just flighted up into the slot. And DDC dispatches it again.
That's crazy. Well, there's Ken. He's going to have to try and find that one. Hopefully it didn't hit the big screen there. Morning, Ken. It's what an unbelievable exhibition of hitting we've seen. We're going to end up with about 340-something runs in this game with time to spare.
It's a good ball, but it's nicely manipulated. That's a wonderful bit of batting. It's only probably gone for the 2 on the assumption the fielder's kept it in play, but just DDC, whatever's coming at him today, he feels like he's got so much time at the crease.
Yeah, he's in complete control. Cricket is such a bizarre game when you think about it. That someone as good as Daniel could make 4 ducks in a row, make 4 zeros in a row. If you saw that in isolation, you'd say the guy couldn't play, but he takes 1 innings to turn it around.
Oh, he goes reverse and he gets a big piece, and that's brought the Spanish dressing room to their feet. The reverse Maximo.
But now it's time to party. He's absolutely got every piece of this. The reversimo from Daniel Dohokaya. Well, who would have thought they'd have time to do this with trick shots? And that one brought Equipo Rojo up to their feet. Oh, what a shot.
Surely enjoy watching that back on the highlight reels later tonight. Spain only needing 4 for victory. Rocks onto the back foot and plays it out to point. I'll just take the 1, so it'll give Isan the opportunity to free his arms and try to bring up victory.
This is only going to be the 3rd 170-plus chase ever. We haven't even had a 160 chase before here at the Cardamom Oval, and we're going to do that easily. Last ball of the 8th, maybe last ball of the game. It is.
What a way to finish. Hassan lofts his bat up. Rutgers and Priddle are ecstatic amongst their Spanish team. What a phenomenal win, and a team that looked like it was in trouble yesterday, compounded by a bowling effort this morning in which they were torn to pieces, but they have reasserted their quality and strength in this T10 format with a phenomenal chase of a target of 171. They've only taken 8 overs to do it, and powered by an extraordinary innings for Daniel Dohokaya of 86 of 27 balls.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You had to see it to believe it. I think that's what it comes down to. In the batting unit, it's just having it all their own way. And, you know, some games are high scoring, some are low scoring. This is one that you could tell that Spain always believed they could do this. They brought it back to, you know, something quite simple. Let's get 17 and over. Let's get, you know, those 2 boundaries and over. Once we do, you know, let's try and turn it into some really big overs. They had the supersonic over. Remember when Yassine started things off with 4 sixes. Then there was the wicket, so the brief kind of interlude. But then Hamza came out. He hit a 6 first ball. But it's a huge context. Huge win in the contest this week as well, because Italy would have been 2-0 and Spain would have been 1-2, but they flipped the script, and so suddenly Italy 2-1 certainly makes their prospects a little bit better for the top 4. Italy, they're back to 50-50, and we won't see either of these teams again for the rest of the day. We will see them tomorrow. They probably need the afternoon off, Rhino, because this was some crazy hitting, and no matter where you were around the world, you'll remember where you were, I think, when you saw the highest ever ECC chase pulled off, 171. And here's the thing, they do it in just 8 overs.
Oh, stunning stuff, and what a moment for the players getting to shake hands with Dave B and the rest of the crowd up there. This was just extraordinary stuff from the Spanish, and tell you what, they have won 2 games from very challenging positions in this tournament. You can say what you like about their bowling attack at the moment, but they have got some gun hitters in that batting lineup, and what a return to form from the skipper. But to be honest, at the start, it was also the left-handed striking of Mohamed Yassine, who went out there and just set the tone.
Don't underestimate the contribution of Yassine in this, okay? Some people think, oh, is he there to kind of push it around and get a stroke? No, he's there because he can bat, and he can extend those strokes into maximos, and we certainly saw him doing that. Okay, they had the brief kind of respite, didn't they, when Yassine went, but it didn't last long because Hamza came out and he was on an absolute heater, even with the ball that dismissed him. He was going at 4.5. I love that shot. I mean, the quick hands, the quick wrist really sums it up. Again, both these teams have been leaking runs at times. Didn't really see a lot of Yorkers in there. Didn't even see a lot of Yorkers attempted. There's a lot of kind of slot stuff. A lot of balls could get, they get underneath. When they did bowl the Yorker, they mis-executed. Maybe that's why they were spooked to bowl more. But I mean, Even the slower balls getting picked. I mean, both teams have done their homework. I think both the batting units knew what was coming at them and what each bowler's tricks were. And ultimately, I mean, yeah, they were firing from the stands, weren't they? DDC brought up his 50. They weren't done yet. They would end up cruising to victory. And they do it with 12 balls to spare. Quite breathtaking hitting here at the Euros of Cricket.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And the Spanish, you can just never count them out in this T10 format. They are a cohesive unit and they've got weapons all the way through that batting lineup. So congratulations to them for registering their second win from 3 games. And that Spanish flag is flying proudly. And what an exclamation mark on victory. DDC coming up with the reversimo in the final stages. And then icing on the cake, Mohamed Hassan smoking one straight down the ground for victory. And pumps fists in the Spanish dressing room. Great to see.
Yeah, well, this makes it quite likely that we will have Corey Rutgers in the commentary box for the next game. There's about an hour until that one starts, so 55 minutes away from the first ball. And let's have a look at the scorecard first, chasing 171 for victory. And Daniel Dolkaya with 86 not out, led the way. Also 38 for Yassine, 41 for Hamza Saleem Dar. Yeah, so that is the next match coming up. And the toss happening pretty much right now. If you want to know that information, you can always go to our website, europeancricket.com, or have a look in the comment section as well. Germany and England, I mean, 2 big winners from yesterday, but one of them will be 2-0, one of them will be 1-1 after that one. And like I said, Corey is scheduled to be in the box because he has about an hour to compose himself. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, this is the tail of the tape. In 8 overs, we saw 23 sixes. So you're pretty much talking about a 6 every 2 balls. Not far off that at all. It's quite incredible ball striking.
If we needed a collective noun for Maximos, it was certainly this game. And we thank everyone for contributing to that debate early on. But there's no debate who was the star of the batting innings. DDC rocking 86 at the top of the order. And great support from Yassine and also Hamza Saleem Dar. But that bowling card, not an attractive one when you've got economy rates of 24, 30 and 23. You ain't going to win too many games.
Yeah, well, it's almost like Shaquille O'Neal goes to dunk and gets blocked by Wilt Chamberlain, really, because the cheapest over in this innings and the match actually was 13 by Marage and also the first over of the match. So he's the pick of the bowlers, I guess. Zayn Ali with a wicket, but remember his other 5 balls went for 6. So, well, time to towel off, guys. Have a cold shower. And then join us because Germany versus England 11. I told you, all these matches are absolute classics waiting to be made. Vinny Sander here, Mr. Maximo, with Andrew Ryan, and perhaps a very happy Corey Rutgers to come. A little while ago, I spent a bit of time with Daniel Weston in the studio, so you'll be able to listen to more of me if you haven't had enough. If not, you can mute, but join us in around about 45 minutes as we'll take you into match 7. This is the Euros of Cricket, and you're watching the Dream 11 European Cricket Championship.
Vinny, fantastic to have you finally on the studio. Thanks for being here after your long days in the commentary box. Just like to know, what are some of your first memories of cricket?
Thanks, Daniel. It's great to be here. I'm really excited with the opportunity to hear so many stories. So now, obviously, to be a part of it. Look, my first cricket memory actually is learning about cricket myself. And rather than having a family background in cricket, or rather than having friends that were interested in cricket then got me involved, I actually read it in a book. So every week at my school, you would go to the library, you would choose a book, and you'd keep it for the week and you'd read it. So I remember quite vividly, being 7 years of age, going to section 796, because I started being interested in sports, and reading a book about cricket. And it was kind of the basics, how to play, also a few little practice games you could play to improve your skills. And then I was hooked. And then every week I'd get out another cricket book and another cricket book. And before so long, I was playing, you know, the plastic bats, the plastic balls, and then progressing through the junior system that way.
Wow. So were you playing with a club or with your school?
Yeah, so I bought both. My parents were really supportive. My dad, although he is of Indian heritage, but he was born in Malaysia, so not really a big cricket playing country. So I kind of had to teach him to bowl rather than him teaching me to bowl, like most dads would do in Australia, I suppose. But yeah, they got me involved just in the local club with the junior cricket program, probably about 8 years of age. And yeah, these kind of modified games. It's called Kanga cricket in those days. And I still remember hitting my first six. I remember that feeling of doing that. I remember just being crazy about it and playing with my little brothers or playing by myself, finding ways to play against the wall, using some of these games which I'd learnt, playing test matches on the wall against myself, where I'd throw and hit the ball, and I'd have quite advanced scoring systems. I was a proper cricket nerd, really, when I think of it. But then kind of progressing. At school, you had to pick a summer sport and a winter sport. Obviously, I picked cricket, and that was around 9 years of age, playing for my local club, and then progressing through that to the kind of the district situation, some kind of junior state squads as well. So that was my cricketing journey growing up.
What was the name of the first club?
So the first club I played for was City Beach, and big rivals with Wembley Downs. This is in Perth suburbs. And would you believe it? Like, I would end up playing with a lot of those guys, obviously, because you came under the same district. But we had some huge rivalries in those days. But then a few years later, just because of demographics and a few other things, those clubs would merge. So I still proudly have my first City Beach cap, because I was kind of inspired by the baggy greens of Australia. Obviously, I started watching a lot of cricket on TV around this time. This is the late 80s. And yeah, I've still got that cap to this day. It was red. Now it's more of a pink. But yeah, that's something that I'll treasure forever.
And then you got into indoor cricket?
I did. I was quite late getting into indoor cricket. So I had some friends that had played indoor cricket, which I normally describe it to people that aren't familiar with it as, it's kind of like what squash is to tennis. It's the same but different. It's the same concept, but a few different skills are required, but the basics are the same. And so I got into that at around 18 years of age. And by this time, I'd really gotten interested in wicket keeping through my teens. Started off as a bowler, actually, that batted a bit, but I really got interested in wicket keeping. So indoor cricket was a great way to practice wicket keeping in some pretty crazy situations because you're always up to the stumps. And yeah, I found I really enjoyed indoor cricket. Within a year, I was in the state team and ended up playing in the national championships in Australia for 20 years. So it was a bit of an initiation, indoor cricket, but in those days there was a little bit of a, what's the word? Not everyone in the cricket community accepted indoor cricket because they felt maybe it'll ruin your technique or all these things. But to me, it was a bit like playing tennis versus table tennis. You know, they're kind of different. I quite enjoyed playing both, and the beauty about indoor cricket was that you're kind of always in the game. You know, there's not too much sitting on the sidelines. You know, you're in there. You can try stuff. There's no real overthrows, so you can try crazy flicks if you're keeping, and you can just try all sorts of things. So obviously, playing indoor cricket at a high level kind of really hones your decision making. And I actually find the games that we play these days, these 10-over games, they have quite a lot in common with this indoor cricket. There was 16 overs. It was really fast paced, and you had to think on your feet.
Yeah, and a big shout out and thank you to Peter Lewis, because it was because of Louis that I got involved in indoor cricket, and that's how I met you. Yeah,
that's right. Peter Lewis, I was playing at the Bayswater Morley Club in those days. Got you into indoor cricket. We ended up playing together. I think that's when literally was my first season of indoor cricket. I think I was 18, you were 16 back then. I remember we won the premiership, and there's still a photo floating around somewhere of this, and it's quite incredible that we'd reconnect after a long time and embark on this crazy European cricket adventure.
It is. So then from there, I'll just tell a little story about, you know, us playing and really enjoying those indoor cricket days. And then I've decided to move off to Europe. And then we, disconnected for maybe 10, 15 years. And then there's cricket on ice in Switzerland.
Yeah.
You see cricket on ice in Switzerland from Facebook. I'm there at the restaurant the night before cricket on ice starts, having dinner with James Cantor. And then all of a sudden, Vinny Sandhu walks into the restaurant. I said, Vinny, and you say, well, Westy, and we caught up at that moment in the restaurant. I said, what are you doing here? You had seen cricket on ice on social media, right?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was doing a bit of work in Zurich, so I kind of became aware of cricket on ice, and through a few people, ended up getting offered a spot with St. Moritz Cricket Club and Chris Lodge, who is actually here for this tournament with the Swiss team. And so, yeah, I just thought it was such a great way to do something crazy. I'd heard of it. I thought this is going to be amazing.
Well, it's minus 14 on the frozen lake of St. Moritz.
Yeah.
Then you asked me what we're doing there.
Yeah.
And we said, well, we're live streaming it. And then you said, oh, do you need a commentator?
Yeah.
And then in our kit bag the next day, we didn't plan on having a commentator, but you've said you'd commentate for us. We put in the batteries to the mic, and then you walked around the frozen lake of St. Moritz for 5 hours commentating those matches. Yeah. And that was the first moment that we thought, wow. It
was crazy. I mean, we always remember this story differently. I remember you asking me if I wanted to. I probably would have volunteered. It sounds about right. But regardless, I mean, it turned out to be such a great partnership, didn't it? I loved the idea of commentating something that's completely different. So I had a lot of hosting experience. Obviously had a lot of cricket experience by this point, having played in the grade system in Australia for so long, and obviously being a cricket nut since I was 7 years of age. So yeah, cricket on ice became, I suppose before too long, the European Cricket League happening a little bit later as far as what the ECM were broadcasting. And that's when things really took off. But I mean, that cricket on ice, it was something completely different. There's still pictures of, rugged up, minus 14 in 7 or 8 or 9 layers.
And but wearing running shoes because we're playing cricket, and then the huge jacket. And I can still remember it in my mind because it was a wireless mic, and you were wandering around watching the game and commentating it beautifully while this stream was going on.
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? We weren't thinking too much in those days, except for, we're having a bit of fun. Obviously, there were bigger things planned, but that was a great opportunity, obviously, for ECN to suppose see where they're at with production at those stages. Yeah. But it's very memorable, and what a place as well, St. Moritz. I've been to some crazy places now to see cricket all around Europe and things, but that St. Moritz is, when people ask me the most unique cricket ground I've been to, it's got to be that one.
That's the one. And so it was actually German Cricket TV.
Yeah.
And then it was after that year that then the idea of the European Cricket League was starting, and then we discussed it again. You were living in Australia, come across to this ECL, and how did you feel, in those first matches of the ECL with that production and with that scaffolding and that moment? How did it feel to you?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal, a bit like everyone else would probably agree, that we turned what was normally a fairly, quite a nice ground, but a fairly run-of-the-mill ground into this huge operation with music and spectator tents and player areas and these big scaffoldings, players getting flown in from all around Europe. It was quite a crazy concept, and it all seemed to happen so quickly. I just remember it was 3 days that was so intense, and no one could really train for it. So we learned a lot on the ground in those first 3 days. But I just remember everyone being completely exhausted at the end of it, at the end of these 3 days. And now sometimes I look back about 4 years later and I think, well, that's just regular 3 days for us now, because you kind of get quite match fit for it. But at that time, and I was only doing half the matches as well back then, but we had such a great mix of characters there, really committed people that were enthusiastic about growing the game and making it as exciting as possible. And I suppose that's a real spark that kicked all this off.
Absolutely, and then obviously the moment with Cluj and Pavel Florin, that was just a completely unplanned moment, which was just breathtaking in the way it sort of took T10 for the run rates that were happening that day, and then Pavel's story as a new cricketer in Europe. It was, how do you recollect that?
Yeah, I just remember it's the first time I really saw anything go viral. And so the media centre there in 2019, and no one really planned this. But it's also the first indication that no one was really sure what this was, probably including us. You know, a lot of these things were accidents. The fact it was 10 over cricket, not 20 over cricket. The fact that the boundaries were in so far. These were practicalities for those 3 days. These weren't kind of strategic decisions that we made. But yeah, the cricket fraternity took notice in that moment. And obviously Pavel's become a great cult figure and a great friend as well, actually, over the last few years. But to see that happen, and also it kind of kicked off this kind of relationship with the rest of the cricket world, which is, it's not a bad relationship, but I often say that on the cricket pyramid, you know, if you've got kind of test cricket up here, you know, one-day internationals and T20s and first-class cricket and all these things here, right down to your village cricket, that might be there, but we're kind of over here somewhere. You know, this is how I feel about it anyway, because you can't really compare us to anything. You'll see guys who have scored 20 first-class centuries playing in the same team as guys that are maybe playing their first or second game of cricket. That's the beauty of European cricket. It's unique. It can't be replicated in any way. And so I think over time, I think the cricket community has stopped kind of judging and started just enjoying and appreciating what we are, which is something very, very different.
Yeah, we're all cricket lovers, and the players that are playing are cricket lovers as well. So it is new, it is uncomfortable at times because it is a new form of cricket, but
sure,
we want to make entertainment, and you bring a lot to that.
And also it is with great respect to the game of cricket as well. You know, obviously some of the dynamics in our cricket are a little bit different. Things like the run rates, the wicket rates even. People talk about lots of runs being scored. We have a wicket taken on average every 10 balls in European cricket. We have a 6 hit every 5 balls in this tournament. So where are you going to see that anywhere else? So it is with great respect to the origins of the game and the evolution of the game that we take on this responsibility. And one thing that I always am thinking is cricket and everything really is constantly changing. So people tend to think of traditional cricket as what they grew up with or what they're used to. But if you go back further, if you go back 100 years, if you go back 300 or 400 years with cricket, I mean, the real traditionalists, they're rolling the ball along the ground, they're hitting it with this hockey stick kind of thing. And yeah, you're protecting the popping creases. That's where you used to pop your bat in because that's what you're trying to protect. So look, the game's changing. I don't think there's anything to be worried about because there's a kind of survival of the fittest, I think, with formats and concepts that if people like it, it will stay. If not, it won't stay. And that's always going to be the case. People will make the decision. So I'm really excited to offer something to cricket lovers that I know they won't see anywhere else and they can't see anywhere else.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I mean, now and today is such a key role of the media team and commentary and putting this whole package and product together with us. But after the ECL 19, obviously you went home, and then we had some plans for the next ECL.
Yeah.
Then Corona came in, and then you're actually working from Australia to try and help promote what we did. Then once Corona gave some sort of entry or exit point for you to come to Europe and be involved with it, now you're essentially you know, you go back and see your family, which is very important, and hopefully your family comes and sees you over here. But essentially, you're on the road promoting cricket in Europe on a daily basis for the whole year now.
Yeah, I mean, there was always some travel involved with me going between Australia and Europe, and that had been happening for a few years, just with some other responsibilities that I had and other interests. But yeah, the decision to kind of relocate, if you like, to the travelling adventure that is European cricket, that was the start of 2021, and I spoke long and hard to my family and friends about this, because I would kind of banking on 1 or 2 weeks a year. When the ECL happens, or when the major tournament happens, I can come over and do that, and maybe 1 or 2 others, but we never envisioned really cricket every day, which is what it's become. So look, I enjoyed working remotely, but also when the opportunity came up and when it was practical, I really felt I could offer something to it day to day at the venue, at the ground, to improve the product, and hopefully that shows how much we've improved, not just because of me, because of the wonderful team around me and you and all of us here, which are bringing something different. But I think one thing I love to do is watch a game from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and just see how far we've come. And you know, at the moment, I'm very, very proud of it. I also think, you know, we're at the stage now we're talking incremental improvements, because we've got it to a place where we are really, really happy with it. But obviously, I'll keep striving to make it better and to make it all that it can be.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do that. And what we want to do is make it the best day of a cricketer's life every day. So it's with yourself and the respect that we want to give the players and the game and all the crew from the ECN. You know, when a player walks out to play and they get the chance to do their very, very best with the stream, with the broadcast, we want to give them the best day of their cricketing lives. Let them express themselves and do what they do in front of their friends and family and that huge audience that makes them play better and get better for next year.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. I mean, I've talked to cricketers from Bulgaria. I've talked to cricketers from England. They both had that experience. Okay, just picking 2 countries at random. But I went and I spent a weekend with the guys at Hornchurch in England, the ECL runners-up this year in 2023, and they invited me to be a part of their charity day and their sponsors day, and it was wonderful to be their guest and to hear their stories. And some of these guys, they've been playing for this club for 35 years. And since they were 7 or 8 years old, the age I was when I started playing, and they said it was their best time they'd ever had in cricket this time. And these guys have played their whole lives, you know, and so this idea that it might just be for people that are fairly new to the game or breaking through in a country that is not that established, that is true as well, because then you speak to the Bulgarian guys as well. You know, I've got a lot of friends all over Europe, and they'll say the same thing. You know, they're really appreciative of the opportunity and just the way it's so professionally run now. I think if you do anything 3,000 plus times, you're going to get really good at it. So obviously doing it day in, day out, it's very systematic, it's very organised. And what you just said there, I think applies equally to those people that are very experienced cricketers or people that are just picking up the game. Luca Petre for Romania last week, getting his first international wicket, for example, was a highlight. But I think one thing that we really strive to be is inclusive. And so that includes, you know, ages, genders, abilities, geographies, ethnicities, everything. And we want to provide everyone that platform and that experience. And the fact that we've done that to literally thousands of cricketers, I think, is probably our biggest achievement.
Yeah, no, you've summed it up perfectly, Vinny. I think for one of probably my most special memory of our relationship and of the ECL 19 moment was when the power went out. Yeah. Because we had these LED boards, and every time they went from black to white, they put a big surge on the power.
Yeah.
The power went out. There was no more audio left apart from your microphone. And then you've been told, you know, you've got 40 seconds here to wrap it up. And the way you wrapped it up that day will always live in my heart.
Because, You're taking me back now.
It's committed cricketers, you know, with their clubs and their federations and their countries, striving to be the best players they can ever be. You know, and that's really special the way you sum that up. And I think, you know, that spirit comes with me, and we work together for the future.
Well, Daniel, you know, come in, bring it in here.
Well done, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
Right.
Look, let me just tell you something just quickly about that moment, though, and that was that the power went out. Of course, this is the first major tournament we'd ever done. So there were times where the power would go out or the scoreboard wouldn't add up, and, you know, and this is crazy because this is a broadcast going to many, many countries and millions of people. But of course, you know, we were fairly new. We'd probably bitten off more than we could chew, but I mean, the fact that led to what we've created now is quite amazing. But the power went out, and to be honest, I was up there with Phil Bachstadt of Germany, and we just didn't expect it to come back on. So I actually really enjoyed it. I watched the whole trophy ceremony from the commentary box and the confetti going everywhere. And I was just sitting back, and that was my moment to kind of stop talking and listen and take in the sights and the sounds and everything. So when unexpectedly the power went back on to our kind of module for 40 seconds or something like that, I suppose you just speak from the heart, and it's something that I genuinely believe in for me. It's not just a job, it's a lifestyle, it's a responsibility that now I've taken on, that I'm owning with the help of those around me. And we're so lucky to have picked up more and more people in our commentary team. I've got Rico, we've got Corey here, but there's others, you know, Charlie, Nish, Ujwal, and plenty more that have come through. Joe Regasani, for example. I won't mention everyone, but
Rhino.
But yeah, Rhino, of course. Rhino's been great. Actually, he's been around for a while now. But I really just think that the people involved, they stay involved because they care about it. And I think that comes through. And I think it's not just a job, it's a lifestyle if you're going to be part of the Blue Crew or be part of European cricket. And that's one thing that I really love about this organisation. And I suppose it takes a while maybe to understand that if you're new to seeing it, if you think it might just be a Mickey Mouse pop-up thing here and there. But the truth is, we are doing this all the time. We love doing it, we'll keep doing it. And really, I've got to say thanks to you for planting the seed that's grown into what is now quite an incredible network of people, places and entertainment. And so, yeah, big thanks has to go to you, Daniel, as well.
Thanks. Yeah, the European Cricket Network, you know, it's a digital network, it's a network of TV broadcasts, but it's a network of people, clubs, communities and cricketers, and that's why it's called the ECN. You're a huge part of it, Vinny, and thank you so much. Okay?
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks again. Thank you.
European Cricket Championship is proudly brought to you by Dream 11, HCL Software, Junta de Andalucía, and Stake.com, and the official charity partner, Share the Meal by the United Nations World Food Programme.
Ven conmigo a cruzar su calle, a vivir su ambiente. Ven conmigo a vivir la vida intensamente. Conmigo ven, conmigo ven.
Hello and welcome back to the home of European cricket, the Cartama Oval, where we're currently in the middle of Championship Week for the Dream 11 European Cricket Championship. 7 teams remain, and what a show we've had so far, not only in Championship Week, but of course the 3 weeks of group action that preceded it now, and a clash which I think will get a few headlines going. It's Germany versus the England 11 in the cricket field. Now, I remember a couple of years ago, the England 11 completely kind of outclassed the Germans, but right now it's Germany that are on fire, but England also very strong yesterday. Coin toss on the way. Rob Kemming has the 2 captains. Let's see who wins it.
England, your call. Crown is called. Germany will bowl.
So the news from the toss is that the Germans are pretty lucky with the tosses. They have won the toss and they will bowl first. And yeah, what I was alluding to was that a couple of years ago, remember the first time these 2 teams met in an ECC, England rock and rolled Germany in the 50s and looked to cut above, and saying that England aren't a very good side this time around, but Germany playing a different brand of cricket. And they're led once again by Vasikar, and no Rohit Singh back yet, though he's expected back later in the week. Had to go on some personal business, but Tristan Junbauer has come in for him, although we didn't see him with the bat last night. Wasn't required, but just have a look at that top 3 for Germany, I should say. They're in great form, with Jamshed Khan as well as Vasikar, and then Mini Boom Boom at 3. Umpires lead the players onto the field. Another battle of the Reds here. There is Shahid Afridi Jr. England 11 batting first. I know that England also like to chase, but also they won't be too bothered when you look at their side. I mean, Lincoln and Young to open up. Now, Bevan was down at 7 yesterday. We know the England 11, they've had a little bit of an illness going through the camp. So it hasn't been plain sailing, to put it plainly. And England 11 still favoured by the win predictor, 61% to 39. But I think that meant that they probably were mixing up their order based on who was feeling well enough to bat yesterday. I think in some circumstances. It does look like Lincoln and Young heading out there. And a lot of support for both teams here. I think in particular, a lot of the English expats love to get down to the Cartama Oval to support the English. But well, there's a man. He's meant business in the last few days. Shahid Afridi Jr. He's been absolutely whacking the ball to all corners. Germany, slightly different looking squad to the one that we saw win on Saturday night, but only slightly. I think, you know, just necessary to make a couple of changes for practical reasons. Like I said, English flags flying and a couple of German ones around. I know we've got lots of viewers watching from Germany. They'll be watching on sportdeutschland.tv, I'm sure. So hello to all of you, and of course hello to all of our UK viewers that are watching on Viaplay. Great to have your company. There's Janpreet, who's listed in the 4 position today. Looks like Volta Bear will get us going. Kind of weird to see the Germans playing in the daytime. The last couple of times we've seen them have been under lights. The Saturday night final where they got over the Scots. And then last night they played in match 5 where they were able to get over the Ireland 11, handing Ireland their first loss in ECC 23. So, well, this should be good. And England 11, even though I know a lot of them weren't feeling particularly well yesterday, they certainly did the business on the field, didn't they? They were very impressive. Almost ready to go. So, time to play. Bear, he floats the first one out. Well, this one is going, and it's almost caught. I think that's carried the line. Touch and go. Now I have to have a look at this one. My instinct was it might have just got some of the rope, maybe not quite. And it is just 4 runs. So, yeah, despairing dive. I mean, if the fielders round a bit more, that's probably a catching opportunity. But the result's 4 runs. Bear creating a little quarter chance first up. Now, classical off drive, elevated that one. There is no doubt about it. Maximo! Young goes 4 and 6 to pick up 6. And now look who we picked up in the commentary box for the first time today is Corey Ruckers. Corey, welcome to the box, although you've had quite a busy day already.
Yeah, looking forward to watching this one, Vinny. And what a shot that is. In the V, a little check drive over mid-off. And scores are ballooning out of control. And this one already 10 off 2.
It is insane, isn't it?
It is gone bonkers, Vinny.
That's the way we like it here on the European Cricket Network. And now goes straight, but has this got the elevation? Don't think so. It is going to be gone. So it will be 4, 6 and out. And it's a nicely judged catch by Sajid Learcat down there on the boundary. So chaos cricket continues into match 2. 2 boundaries and a wicket, and England lose Young early.
Yeah, big wicket. Young's very strong, isn't he? And unfortunately, didn't get that one out the middle. Too much elevation. He has to go early. Good comeback from Volta Bear, the German skipper last year, I should say. Vasi Karan leading them in this one. A really good bowling. And the first one will go down.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day already. We'll talk about your game in a moment, but right now, I mean, the Germans, they are just the form team of the competition. Reminds me a little bit of CIYMS, the Irish club, how they carried their form from the last group into Championship Week in the ECL. Right now, they're dealing Young with a couple of bombs, but has to go halfway through the first over.
Yeah, the big thing for me is in this game, Germany love a lot of right-arm seam, quite quick bowlers as well. I think that will suit England 11, but I'm starting to think, Vinny, that the toss, is so important. Teams want to chase. You want to know what you have to get, and I think there's a lot of talk in camps at the moment. What's a good score? Do you want to chase 130, 140, 150? Is 160 now easy? It's just changing every day. So a good matchup this game, and I think England do have their noses slightly ahead.
All right, so in he comes and he biffs first ball. Left-hander, sends it over the fence. And the action continues. Maximo! What a shot first up.
Yeah, exactly, it's 4-6, wicket 6, and this is T10 on steroids. It really is. I don't think we've seen anything like it, what we've had in day 1, day 2 so far, Vinny. I guess the surprise for me is in the group stage we spoke a lot about expect the scores to go higher, and they did a bit, but I didn't expect them to go even higher in Championship Week, and right now it's a bit of a joy to watch if you're not coaching.
Here's the confidence of having guys that can go out there and hit boundaries straight away. So normally the traditional thinking of wicket slowing things down, look, it might happen, but also might not.
Well, most of these teams bat extremely deep. You've got 7 or 8 power hitters that are just ready to go. So it's very difficult to slow teams down. Every run matters. But yeah, I mean, what's the rate been in Championship Week at the moment?
I will tell you, but it's a lot. I haven't actually looked it up after the last game, but it's 156 average.
Yeah, wow.
Well, that's average.
Wow. So that's par.
Par's 156, based on the first 6 games. Now, this is just flipped away, but straight to the fielder, so rare dot ball as the throw comes in.
So we're talking that 15 runs and over are just happening with people's eyes closed. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, and if anything, the defending champions kind of dragged that down a bit with their 117 yesterday, but we'll see them coming up twice today.
They'll get better.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Digs it into the pitch, but Henley's sweating on it, and he's going to escort that one into the DJ booth. Maximo! Successful at first over in one way for Bear, but also he gets attacked. Goes magical. 22 for 1 after 1.
Just another over of T10 chaos. 1 wicket, 22 runs. And people are playing some seriously good shots. So we were on the back end yesterday of the Irish, and they thumped it.
You're right about that. I mean, of course, this is how we got to Championship Week. What's it like, for example, with the Spanish team? It's pretty much 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks since you played a match. So, I mean, are the guys able to do any preparation in that meantime?
No, not really. Not really. A lot of them go back to normal jobs and so forth, but they were all very eager and trying to watch as much cricket as possible. They're enjoying themselves. I think they understand that it is chaos and trying to use the underdog tag a little bit and just have some fun. Whatever happens, happens. It's 4 teams will get to Friday, and then it's just a shootout. All those 4 teams that make it to Friday are all going to be deserving of winning.
Yeah, no doubt. This has perhaps one of the most exciting weeks of cricket that we will ever have on ECN. As Fayez comes out and a rare leave. I think Lincoln thinking about flirting with that, decided no, just can take this ball to get accustomed to what he's delivering.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing as well, that we're not seeing many dot balls, if any. The scoreboard's always ticking over. So for Germany, they'll be confident of chasing anything under 155, I reckon.
This time, Lincoln does offer, but he can't beat the fielder. Knocks it down, just a single.
Yeah, nice start for Khan. A little bit of shape away from the right-hander. Lincoln just taking a ball or two to get himself going. Also find the power play is quite interesting at the moment, where teams are putting their 2 boundary rides. Because the ball's going 360, it's quite complicated to pick the 2. I've actually come up with a new rule overnight, Vinny.
What's that?
Well, this does seem like it's becoming a bit more of a batter's game, right? I think in the power play you should be allowed 3 out. I think we're getting to that stage.
I hear ya. It's onto the pad.
I think that we've got to... There has to be something for the bowlers come back, and
I mean, you say
it does make a difference.
You don't want to
just it's a small
overreact.
change.
I know what you're saying, and it'll make your job easier. That's why I'm sure you're proposing it. But I'll say, also power plays bring a lot of wickets. Normally, it's just...
I'm just saying one more.
There's been unreasonable hitting in this last week or couple of weeks. Fires into Lincoln, steps across, and then has to still go offside. Actually, pretty well knocked out. Took a bit of a sideways Tortuga at the fielder. So just one. Hindley back on strike. Hindley certainly has looked to be aggressive from his first ball. I hear what you're saying. Maybe let our viewers.
It's only. I mean, it probably wouldn't change too much, but just to give a little bit back to the bowlers. But yeah, difficult. Khan's showing that you can bowl well in a power play. Only 2 off the first 4. If he can get out of this over, this would be a magical over for a bowler.
Tragical for the batter. This is lifted up. Fielder comes around, can't quite cut off the angle. Does well to pick it up on the bounce, and that's Tristan Jungbauer, who's into the side. Pretty much a replacement for Rohit Singh. He plays his cricket in Gloucestershire, I believe. Decent level of club cricket. And yeah, good to see him. But we haven't actually seen him on ECN. He only fielded last night as well. So,
okay, so
he's listed 5.
Another batter. They do bat deep, the Germans. Last ball this second over, very good from Khan.
Wow, that's quite an extraordinary shot there from Lincoln, who shapes to ramp, then goes the other way, and he gets it over the fence. Maximo! England 11 now, 32 for 1 after 2.
Yeah, that just shows the calibre of some of the players that are playing in the ECN and ECC Championship Finals week. That's an audacious stroke. He gets it, and that flies for 6. It just goes to show anything can happen in Championship week, and that was a pretty good over. Only goes for 9. England, well, they'll be wanting to add some points to that table.
Big difference. Obviously, we'll talk about Spain and your team in a minute, but big difference with the result. I mean, Italy could have been 2-0 and getting the jump. Instead, they're 1-1 like you were yesterday. You go to the top of the table, first team to register 2 wins, and it's a huge result, isn't it? Especially when you're chasing 171.
I think so as well, because it quite easily could have lost the game to Jersey. Got a little bit lucky, I feel, in that game, and also, well, could have lost that, but the batting was from Hamza Dar and Danny and Yassine was phenomenal. So it's going to be such small margins in Championship week. It really is. And that table, I think everyone's going to beat everybody. I don't think there's going to be a front runner.
There's no games you say one team can't win. Anyway, this is going to be hit up, and it's Adios Pelota, and well taken. Oh, well.
Oh, is that one of my boys?
I think it is. That might have been. I couldn't see, actually. He's a long way around the corner, but it was well. Might have been Raja that takes it. You tell me what you see on the replay.
Oh, I love it.
Henley, make sure it wasn't a fielder on the field that caught it.
Yeah, I love a good crowd catch, but yeah, that's in the slot, isn't it? Left-hander. Nice swing of the bat. 6 runs, and you're right, that was Raja Adil.
Pitched up, driven again, driven well, driven for 6. What is going on? I can't believe that yesterday seems like it was just a warm-up now. We saw 200 score, we saw a 158, 153. This is carnage at Khartoum.
Just clean flush hitting. I also think from this end, Vinny, I know we flipped ends after each week. This end's a bit flatter. I don't think this ball gets as much bounce or much sideways spin or anything off the surface, and you just get shots like this. But it's going to be a little half volley out to Volta Bear.
Makes it pretty exciting, put it that way.
Well, you've come to the right place if you enjoy high scores and craziness, and that's exactly what we're getting.
England just built on an early lead. 58%, I think they were at the start of this game. 61% is where they started. Learcat included for Championship Week, and he gets just a little fall down paddle, wasn't it, from Lincoln, who kept his feet in the end, but the result's another boundary for the English.
Yeah, Lincoln's a funky opener, isn't he? Maybe not as traditional at hitting straight as what Hindley's looked like coming out at 3, but he's very good at these sort of pick-up shots, ramps, using his crease. Look at that. How far outside off is he? Unbelievable. That's a great little highlight, and the fielders can only watch it go for another boundary.
Lift it up, and it'll get over the field. Another 4. This one not really time from Lincoln. Cuatro Caderas Mas brings up the 50 runs as well, and the 50 coming up within the power play.
Yeah, 50 runs up, and another delivery. Not timed this time, but mid-on was in the ring. And this is what I mean, Vinny. Maybe give the fielding team just one more out the ring, and that could have been a single, but the 50's up, and the partnership's blossoming, and this is a magical over already.
Yeah, Cat. Welcome to the jungle. Last ball, the power play. Long on, long off back, so he goes sideways, gets outside the line. Oh, it's pretty close. That's pretty close.
Yeah, they're confident. No, we're going up to limited review system, Vinny.
Live, I felt he just got there, but you know what direct hits are like, Corey. This will be a replay. He had to hit one stump. It'll be a leg by if it's not out. And we're about to find out whether Hindley is on his bike or not. Here we go. Oh,
Safe.
He's just home.
Yeah, safe.
And I mean just.
It's background. It's the background.
Yeah, that's down. I always think it's crazy to, yes, definitely down either in one just after he's in. But sliding on the spine of the bat is a tactic fraught with danger in case it bounces.
Are you sure 100% that bat's grounded?
I'm 100%.
I'm not 100%, only because sometimes when you get in the divot, it can blop them up. Just watch this, Vinny.
It's
Watch it hit the grass,
yeah, but
and
there,
then is that in?
that
You can see daylight, can't you?
No.
I don't know. I'm not as confident as you.
I think that's out.
Out or not out?
Sorry, I mean he's not out.
Okay. I think it's potentially out.
I don't think that's out. No way.
You know what?
You're starting to see things.
No,
there.
but when you see daylight, you can see daylight.
Oh, nah.
Well, it's an interesting
There's
one.
grass touching that.
Well, it's like when you get at one of those catches when you've grass on the ball and they're like, oh, it's one of those funny ones, Vinny.
I think we've done too much of this. We're starting to see things.
Directors in the
Well,
answer.
then my question is, what is hitting the ground?
Nothing.
Like, there's ground that's been hit.
Yeah, before the line.
Nah.
Interesting. Leave that one to the viewers. That's a funny one, though. It did look like it might have gone up, but probably the safe decision, right decision's not out.
I know they didn't cut the grass overnight, so I think there's a bit of grass touching the bat. Anyway, 54 for 1 at the end of 3. Looking at the power play. Bookended with 22s. A couple of magicals so far. Excellent fielding, though. He'll let Ian.
A bit of spin now. Ghulam Ahmadi, the right arm sort of mystery off spinner.
Yeah, he had a really good few days, hasn't he? He'll let it to Ian, and I like what he's put in the comment section. A bit of alliteration. Nice. Swing and miss first up. So Ian saying something with a few C's from stumps, umps and beer pumps. Cut away, nice shot. That's 4. It's too short and too wide to Lincoln. He's not going to miss out on that. England continue to motor, even with the change of pace from the Germans.
Yeah, nice shot that. Just going away from him outside off and leans on it. Well, it looks like a new graphic, Vinny. Hey, we're there.
I thought you might like that one. Third biggest chase all time.
Yeah, but isn't there a graphic from yesterday? We conceded the 3rd biggest score of all time.
Let's not go into that. But right now, I mean, again, chasing it in 8. Same as the other 170 chase above you. Hungary chasing 174 in 8.
How come we aren't above?
Because it's to do with what your target was.
Okay.
The target achieved 171.
Yeah, credit to all the guys. Good comeback.
So we try and attempt this Ian says, Chaos Cricket produces carnage at Cuddama with Corey.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Not bad.
Marty.
I mean, they're 58 of 3.3, and it looks like they're taking their time.
Yeah, but the off-spinner making a bit of a difference here.
So that's the Dusra. That's actually gone a bit the other way. Very difficult to do that.
Yeah. Now, Marty certainly posing a few questions for the right-handers as well, which is really useful as a finger spinner. That was the same again, and an acrobatic attempt, but Janpreet couldn't quite hold on. It'll go to the boundary, and the action just keeps on coming on day 2 of Championship Week.
Yeah, what a nice shot, but what a bit of fielding this could have been. He flew through the air, gets a hand to the ball, parries it over the bar. 4 runs, top effort.
Picked up, and that one's got the legs as well. Maximo. Now Lincoln, he doesn't mind, you know, taking a ball or two because he's that destructive. He can make it up. We saw him leave the first ball, remember, but that seems like a distant memory now at the end of 4 overs. It's 68 for 1.
Yeah, that's what Lincoln does. And he's very creative with the crease and what he wants to do with his movement. So good batting. England in control at the moment. 68 for 1. Going at 17s. And once again, Vinny, I mean, 17s, you're going to end up with 170. But is it enough? It's just changing so much. This game, I can't believe. I mean, 2 years ago, we were getting scores of 110 getting defended. Now we're talking 170.
The thing is, you guys were on 217 pace, which means that theoretically it would have been enough to chase down what Ireland set you yesterday. So
it was quite funny. A few of our boys were telling the Irish after the first innings, 20 short, boys.
The old classic South Africa versus Australia comment from Jacques Callis when South Africa chased 435 for victory in a 50-over game. Bit slow for me. Still single-digit run rate, but...
Well, if Ireland had batted 50 overs against us yesterday, they would have made 1,100.
That's exactly right. He might have made 700 or 800 himself. Anyway, here we go with Abdul Basir in over number 5. Fails to fire. But, yeah, tell me, I mean, what do you say when you're chasing 171? What were your words to the team in the halftime break?
Well, bring the fire. But it's honestly, we're still trying to figure out what's the par. And if the par's gone up, that's, what, 15 over par? So the bowling unit obviously still struggling a bit, but I think everyone's bowling unit's trying to find the best weight.
Basir gets hammered out of the ground. Well... Didn't bowl it the first time, and when he bowled it the second time, it's up the hill. Maximo! Henley, hasn't he been good in the number 3 spot?
Yeah, just brutal hitting. That is clubbed away. And he's already raced to 32 of 9. I mean, we're seeing players consistently make 50s now off 13 to 14 balls.
Even some quicker. Even a 10-baller in this series, the Seamus Lynch.
I mean, Seamus Lynch, the way him and was Tector yesterday, was it?
Yeah,
just that hitting was brilliant to watch.
Well, Germany under attack right now. Full toss, rare miss time. This will just be a single. So let me tell you who England have today. Of course, they've got Germany here in the second match of the day. They've got the Netherlands 11 in the evening and a rematch of last year's final.
Good game.
That will be a good game, but really, they're all good games at the moment. Germany 2 years ago, I remember England rock and rolled them in the mid-50s and chased it, and they certainly made it clear there was a big gulf between these two teams. But Germany, they're at the form team right now. English 11, though, for me, the more cricket they're playing here, the better they're getting.
Yep.
I think there's no doubt about that, especially their batting unit. I think the way they're hitting it right now, sending a pretty clear message.
Did they make any changes for this week, or are they stuck with the same troops?
I think pretty much the same squad.
Yeah, I feel like
that
they're developing every day, aren't they? Looking better and better.
All right, tries to get funky this time, Lincoln, and might be lucky to get away with it.
Yeah, take that. Handy dot ball. Every dot ball's almost gold dust. What's good bowling figures these days for a bowler?
I think if you can stay in the 20s, you're happy. You know, if you get a none for 29 or better, that's where we're at. Welcome to the new world. He's jammed. If this goes for 4, this is too much. 4 runs. Well, I mean, it's pretty much a perfectly executed Yorker. Freddie fires it in anyway out of frustration. And boom, boom, running into a bit of air resistance. But, I mean, look, I don't mind that from Basia. At least he bowls a ball that's difficult to hit, for almost impossible to hit for 6. So good seam position, in-swing Yorker.
That's the draw shot.
Is it through the legs?
Oh,
it is
yeah.
From Lincoln.
That's my Andalusia shot of the day already.
Well, the nutmeg coming out at an opportune time for the English skipper, who now walks and kind of clonks one for a single. So Basia, yeah, I'm serious about what I said. If you're in the 20s or better in Championship Week, then you're better than average.
So what is 5 bowlers going at 29?
So I wouldn't say it's good. 5 bowlers going at 29.
Yeah, it's
145.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. So if you stay in the 20s, you've done something right.
Wow, this is high.
Whoa.
And it's far enough. Well, that one might be in the scorer's box. Maximo to finish the 5th. England 11 sent in, but looking pretty comfy at the moment. 86 for 1 after 5. Well, watch that grizzly ball fly, and let's fly up into the dream box now. Vinny Sandhu, Mr. Maximo for the European Cricket Network. Good to have Corey Rutgers in the commentary box for the first time today. Of course, Corey also coaching Spain in this series, but he's our regular commentator on ECN, so I'm happy that you can step in for a couple. Rico's got the day off today. I don't really know how to describe what we've been seeing. Do you want to try?
Not really. I think that a lot of these teams are bringing such good batters. I mean, that's beautiful ball striking from the English at the moment. Italy this morning, Nakfi's 100. We were just sitting there going, well, Tim Tector smacked 100 against us. Like, okay. Yeah. But it's just the past score. We're all trying to figure out. So when they come off in that previous game and we kept them to 1-0, we're like, is that good? We don't know right now. Yeah. So obviously the batting's gone like this, and maybe the bowling's just stayed the same level, but the batting level has definitely gone up.
Our ceilings have been smashed, but I have to be honest, I got to say, I haven't seen enough Yorkers. Yorkers you get out of jail. A lot of Yorkers are being missed when they're being attempted, so it's an execution error for me. Not that I think I've got all the answers, because I certainly don't. You were bowling everyone under the sun to try and slow things down, I noticed in that first game. Right now, I mean, every team will run into patches where things are difficult. I think Germany, they're running into one here. I'll be really curious to see how they act and maybe if they can peg things back a little bit in the second half.
Well, that's the thing. If Germany keep them to 160, I mean, it sounds crazy, but 160, they'll believe they can get it. So, yeah, I think a lot of teams are trying different bowlers and who just works at this T10 sort of tape ball cricket with a hard ball.
But what I will say is that, good bowlers will stand out here. If you can have a bowler that can go for less than 20, let's say, and maybe, ooh, interesting. Yeah, he slides his foot here. And I think he keeps it on the ground. He actually slides it, doesn't lift it, Lincoln.
Yeah, good call, Vinny. Just slid it along.
Yeah, so, what's Amadi gone for here at the moment?
No, he's done well. I mean, 8 balls for 14. So you're saying if his next 4 balls go for 15 max, that's a win for the bowler?
Yeah, it's a small win. Obviously, the more you can be under 30, the better. It's a bigger win. Now, this is swatted away, and that's going to be 6. Maximo. Lincoln to 41. England 11 building something pretty substantial here. Looks like, is that Dave over there? He's our jungle specialist now. I don't know if you saw last night, he attempted a catch in the jungle, a diving catch.
Oh, no way.
Which is fraught with danger with the footing over there. It's good TV, though. That one looked like the carom ball, but it's going to go the same way over the ghost chair. Maximo, Lincoln on, England on, approaching the 100 here in the 6th over.
Just crazy ball striking ability. I don't even know if that's fully out the middle. It looks a little slightly high on the bat, but look where it goes into the jungle, Vinny. They're almost on 100, and they've got a big platform for that 170, 180 here.
Now, it's going to be just a single out.
So you think par's potentially 150 or is par 160?
No, I mean, look, you don't want to get carried away, but eventually the numbers will move you. Yeah, for me at the moment...
I mean, how many scores have we seen under 150?
Not many. I could check in a minute.
That's what I'd like to know.
I'd say 150 is par in this championship week. 156. You often got to look at what drags things down. I mean, you'll get the occasional innings. Not every innings goes to plan, right?
Yep.
So there's going to be some innings where it doesn't go to plan. You have to kind of dig yourself out. You might get a fighting 110, 120, kind of like the Dutch did yesterday. This is a nice cut, though, as Amadi, well, he loses the battle with the 30 marker in the end because 31 for him as England bring up the 100 off the last ball of the 6th, 103 for 1.
Yeah, what a nice traditional shot that was. Not much room for the cut, but he still gets it away. And England 11, they're enjoying their time so far in Championship Week.
Both batters striking the ball really well. I mean, Hindley, he's on a magical rate, isn't he? He's going 43 off 12. We haven't had a single wide or no ball in this innings. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard for the bowlers, like I said, but the good bowlers find a way eventually. I'm talking about guys like Edwards, for example, from England 11. I know Greatwood's not in the side at the moment. I think he's still struggling with a bit of an illness. But, you know, for Germany, they're going to have some challenges to deal with. England have a pretty well-balanced bowling lineup with a lot of spin options as well. Kind of mystery spinners in there. Anyway, here's Mini Boom Boom. Shahid Afridi in over number 7. And he gets driven straight and driven along. Maximo. And that for me again, I mean, Afridi does like a Yorker, but he's just a metre short of it, and he pays the price. 50 for Lincoln.
I just think you're right, Vinny. People want, he wants a Yorker there, but if you miss it, and you miss that side, it's usually 6. So 50 up for Lincoln. He's got a big platform here to go on to something large.
Not wasting too much time waving the bat is Dan Lincoln. He's ready for more. And he's going to get more here as he just clips it leg side. And again, ball that bounced in front of him. Dan's got the answers. And England really flying high at the moment.
What's the rate today, just in general?
You want me to tell you?
Are we on record pace for a day ever?
It could be.
Yeah, this is just... It's almost as if stick cricket, the video games, come to real life at Cardimer Oval. And some amazing ball striking. It really is. Lincoln's looking the goods now. And he's a 360 player. Not easy for Germany.
Rate today's 18.8. Well, and again. Well, deliberate or otherwise, will take the result. Straight through the legs of Lincoln. Inside half with the bat and 4 more to the total.
Oh, the old double draw shot in the innings. Watch this. He gets this straight through. Oh, yeah. Look, I don't care if he fully meant it or not. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
hey, if you're just trying to get bat on it, that's all you have to do.
I mean, if he hits the middle, he's clipping it in front of that front leg, but you're pretty lucky that right leg gets out the way. That would time travel to the 19th century there now. Lincoln, something a bit more orthodox. A pull, they'll only bring him 1.
Do you remember the days when 118 off 10 overs right now, their score would be probably enough to get you close to a win?
Yeah, so now after those last 2 balls, it's 187 par today. But we're only, look, to be fair, we've only seen...
How many sixes did the Spanish boys just hit? Hamza Dar came out and was seeing it like a beach ball.
23 in 8 overs.
Oh, it just blows your mind. It blows your mind. I think it's going to be the best bowling attack of the week. It's going to win it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it has to be.
Bat for show, bowl for dough. We said it before. All right. I finally got to get 2 breaths in. Hindley, he's flying as well. 43 off 12, and now he's going to nonchalantly clip another 6. Maximo. Hindley to 49.
Wow. Well, that's again, Vinny. He's missed the Yorker only just by a foot, and it's cheekily chipped for 6. He's looked in form since the moment he walked out, Hindley. It's controlled hitting as well.
Welcome to stick cricket with live human beings. Live from the Cardimer Oval. Afridi's gone magical, 21 off this one with a ball to come. And this will be 4 and 50 now to Hindley, who brings up the milestone in only 14 rocks.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What an innings from Hindley. Well batted, really well batted. I like the use of the crease just with that boundary there to get it through the offside. That's the end of the 7th over. And the score is 128 for 1.
Live run rate watch. 18.9 and over here on day 2. Where does this end? Well, if you want to send your thoughts, please do, because my mind's running a little bit on overload at the moment, but you can get me at Mr. Maximo and get Corey at CRutgers_28. Don't forget to follow us on social media, where you're going to get a smorgasbord of cricket highlights every day at the moment. Maybe it's just a phase. You know, you went through phases when you're a bit younger. Maybe there's just a Maximo phase, and eventually the bowlers have to regroup and come up with something. I mean, I literally, if I'm Fires here, I'm just trying to hit the bottom of middle stump. 6 times.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you miss it middle stump, it's 6. If you don't get the Yorker right, it's
if you try anything else and you get it right, it's probably 6. That's one that you can kind of challenge and hope that the batter misses it. And that's how it works out. First up with the dot.
The thing is as well, if Germany can try and take just a wicket or one over that only goes for 10, then all of a sudden they're only on 138 and you can get it back to parity. One over, one bowler can have one good over somewhere.
The
Changes the whole
cheapest
game.
over in that first game was 13.
In the whole game?
The whole game.
That is great. That has to be a record.
Surprised you didn't write that down.
I know, what I was writing down in my note was look for another job. You're a terrible coach. If you actually crunch the numbers from the group stage to Championship Week, Spanish cricket, we have conceded the most by a mile. Isle of Man, we're making 145s against us.
I'm not going to shout out too much. You have played one
You know what
game,
I did this morning? You were like this. I took my 3 wicket keepers, Awais, Adam and Isan, out to the other field and said, who can bowl, boys? I did.
Sign that you've planned it all out. That's what I'm talking about, if you get it right. So just because you sometimes miss a plan doesn't mean the plan's not worth trying. I don't know, just haven't seen enough of these kind of balls. But,
I just think people are trying to do it, Vinny, but it is not easy to bowl a Yorker against quality batters on a 50-metre boundary, and if you get a low full toss, they're getting clipped for 6, and the half volleys are going for 6 as well. Basically now, if you have a bowler that bowls 2 overs that go for 16, you might as well give him man of the match.
Yeah, the way things are going.
Man of the match all of a sudden has to change as well.
Well, I mean, I haven't really had time to settle and have a nice chat to you because this game's been so fast-paced as well. England on 177 pace, but there were a few people worried after 10 overs a day that you wouldn't be joining me in the commentary box and we'd have the annual Corey sulk where Spain lose and suddenly you sneak off into the bushes and we can't find you, but I think you're pretty happy to be here at the moment. Hit straight, hit well, nice shot, solid shot by Hindley. Well, he might catch his captain soon the way things are going. And with that, Maximo, England establish themselves at 136.
Yeah, Hindley's playing a blinder here, isn't he? Lovely bat swing on the man, and yeah, he's just come out from the start, timed it beautifully. Both these two rivaling each other for who's going to top score.
Yeah, gotta love a good race between two batters at the crease. That's well bowled. Backs away a bit, makes it look a bit wider than it is.
I think if you asked anyone, that's the dream ball.
Yeah,
that is the dream ball, but executing that 60 times is almost impossible.
Yorker's a Yorker. You know, I don't really mind it anywhere from,
even a wide Yorker.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yorker's a Yorker. Anywhere from middle stump to just inside the tram line. Or actually even say leg stump.
What's your thoughts on slower balls this competition then?
Don't miss.
Yeah, but what's the length you're hoping for? Oh, great running. Good match awareness.
Really good running by Lincoln. Spotted that Mandy was having trouble taking the ball, or at least had to do a bit of work. My feeling with slower balls is if you're always bowling Yorkers, then you should make your slower ball a Yorker as well. Because...
that's impossible. You know how hard it is to land a slower ball Yorker?
But foolish then, so that it's a bit better disguised. I think some bowlers bowl better disguised slower balls than others. I mean, Rajmani's got a pretty good one for Italy. But then it brings me to another point. Fires comes in, and he's going to get just clinked away, and that's going to be 4 more. And right now, England 11 batting for show. They're up in the 140s.
Yeah, I think Fires Khan looked to his captain and said, well, what do you want me to do? Because that's actually not the worst delivery. Look at this, Vinny.
Yeah.
Swinging away, full and wide, and it's been ramped from outside the wide line. What a shot.
Really good shot. I mean, this is one of the negatives of trying to follow Lincoln. You know, I think maybe you're better off bowling that base leg stump and seeing if you can catch up with it. But yeah, one of the things I know, just once you get to this stage, then everyone's done their homework on everyone else.
Yeah.
Last ball of the 8th. Oh, he decides to jab at this and stops his shot. Could be a rare chance, and it's taken. So that is Tristan Jungbauer that takes the catch at point. And so Lincoln goes for 68. He was just in 2 minds whether to leave it there or to leave it alone. And in the end, he just kind of bunted it just outside the circle. England have a huge partnership for the second wicket, but it ends at 132. The score 142 for 2.
Yeah, it actually would have been a massive wide. He could only just reach it. A nice catch in the end. So he has to go. Well batted Stan Lincoln. Thought, once again, Mr. 360. All these different ramps and funky shots are always a pleasure to watch. Germany, they needed a couple of balls, and Fires Khan, good figures.
Yeah, well, stand up and applaud for Lincoln. He's set quite the base for England. He compiles 68, including 5 Maximos and 8 4s off just 29 balls. It's 142 for 2. Yeah, so what I was going to say, someone like Rajmani, he does have a very good slower ball for Italy, but obviously it looked like Spain had done their homework on that, kind of looking out for it.
We said set up for the slower ball and adjust if it's quicker, because we had a feeling Italy would bowl maybe 50% slower balls.
Yeah. So run rate pretty stable at a pretty high rate, around that 17 or 18 and over. Basir comes back in over number 9. So it all happens in the 9th, but it's pretty much all happening all the time at the moment. That's a slice miss hit from Henley, but he doesn't care, swings himself into the 60s.
Yeah, Henley again, another ball in the V, and he puts it over cover. He's batted beautifully, 63 of 17. Bevan's gone out to join him. How destructive is Bevan?
I mean, you see Bevan walking out at you. And so, what are you meant to think? You just got to try and hit your spots. You've got 11 balls left. We've already seen a 170s chase pulled off today. Germany have a top order that is certainly in form. Oh, he's got something on that. I reckon there's a bit of bat down the bottom. Yeah, it's off the toe. Oh, now Henley pulling out the party tricks. I don't know how to describe this one. Maybe you'd like to try, but it brings up the 150 for England.
It's awful to be a bowler. He lands the Yorker again, and he's somehow, I think, towed it. It wasn't off the foot, was it? I mean, there's been 3 perfect Yorkers, and they've all gone for 4.
It's a deliberate shot, but I don't think it's the part of bat he was meaning to hit it on. It kind of hits right down the bottom corner, just out of the grasp of Sachin Mandi behind the stumps. Henley to 67. He's only faced 3 overs of bowling. Now a rare miss. I think you're throwing, but in the end, they don't. That'll be a leg by.
Valuable 1 run.
Henley's been really good here. Think of what he offers with the ball as well. I think he's been a really great pickup for the England 11. Tom Bevan, yeah, he's played a lot of high-level cricket. Faces up now for the first time. I'm pretty sure he's not looking to push the 1, Corey.
No, this will be deep in the crease. Maybe skips across and tries to elevate it over the leg side. Who knows? And the scores are just flying.
Oh, 4-leg bias.
Oh.
Good Yorker.
Well, every good Yorker we have seen has gone for 4.
Okay, I'm going to think a bit unusual. If you're going to bowl Yorker and you're actually hitting it, then maybe you need a fine leg.